Hello everyone, it's that time again. It's time for XGR and it's going to end our month of favourites, least favourites of video games of all time. And this week is the worst. But as usual, we're going to go with a little bit, one news article each and one catch up, and then we're going to go into the awards. Joining me as usual is Anastasia Lazerbeam.
Woo!
And Richter Hammer.
Hello.
So, sit round, enjoy, pull up a seat and let's just have fun with it. So first up, the news. Bum bum bum. Or say. News. Who wants to take it away with that news?
I'll go with the news, unless Richter wants to go.
Now go for it.
Okay. So, I want to start this off with fuck Australia, but they've been being pretty hard by video games by not getting shit. So, Australians...
For me pointing that out.
Yeah, because they do get skimped a lot of shit, but... So, November 21st this year, the new... That's what they're calling it. They're just calling it the new 3DS. Or the new 3DS XL. Like, that's literally in the title. Like they couldn't think of something else. Like, it just literally, fuck it, let's just call it the new Nintendo 3DS. Because that's the only change in name.
To be fair, it's not any different than just adding a 2 at the end.
Well, they didn't add a 2, they added 2 letters.
Slightly, yes. Well, when the next one comes out, what is that? The new 3DS?
Newer.
Exactly, they already put themselves in a box.
The newer 3DS.
Newer. And another 2 letters, there you go.
Yeah, then the next one after that will be the newest.
And what's the one after that? 4DS?
The final 3DS.
Final 3DS?
And the final 3DS Part 2. Electric Boogaloo.
The final 3DS.
Yeah. No, I'm guessing this new 3DS will be the last 3DS. I'm assuming then they're going to move on to something else.
Probably.
Hopefully that one that they talked about that was like a hybrid of the Wii U and the 3DS. But continue, Pew Pew, with the Australian news.
Oh yeah, Australian news. Hey Aussies. So, or Tachikage. They're probably the only ones listening to that. And that's like a stretch. So, basically, there's going to be 12 different packs that come with it. Not come with it, but you could buy to customize your 3DS. They didn't confirm that the skins will come for the 3DS X, the new 3DS XL. They just talked about the 3DS, so I don't know if there's going to be detachable skins from there. But at launch, there's going to be the 12 skins. They look pretty cool. And also, with every single skin there is a matching theme in your 3DS that'll match it. Like the themes on PlayStation 3, there will be themes on your 3DS. I'm not going to say new 3DS, it's still 3DS. But anyway, so you have themes that match your the skins they have. It's like completely matching. If you have like Yoshi skins, they'll have like a complete Yoshi skin like background, almost exactly perfectly matching to the theme.
Cool.
So that's I'm pretty sure like they're linked or something. If you get this, maybe you get a code or something. You can download this one. So I think they're like linked somehow. So that's pretty awesome. These also will be able to use the amiibo figures. So that's cool.
Yep, that was one of the new benefits with them.
And also, they have a C-stick, like in the GameCube one, so that's pretty cool. For like cameras and shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, yep. That's what we reported the other week, because what's it called, Xenoblade or whatever it's called, Chronicles has been ported to it.
And all the Circle Pro pad games will be able to use the C-stick as well in the same way that the Circle Pad Pro thing did. So yeah, we'll get that like sometime in 2015 or whatever. They just said pretty much sometime in 2015. Everybody else.
They're like, yeah, sure, you'll get it.
Eventually.
Yeah. You'll get it when we're ready to give it to you. Your body is not ready.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of like the Time Warner Cable Company commercial. It says, "I'll come when I'm ready to come, and you'll be there waiting for me."
Nice. And over to Rick for his news.
All right, so the director of Final Fantasy Type 0, Hajime Tabata, was talking about the HD version that's coming out, and he basically explained that the original game was very unforgiving, so they added a more easy mode so people could enjoy the story and not break their nice, expensive controllers. And he also then the original was on PSP and had an ad hoc multiplayer mode, and they just cut that entirely. So they're like, well, we wanted to make sure that we could get the game out in a timely manner, so we just cut the co-op. And it's like, oh, thanks. Like, we've already waited this long. I'd rather you not do that, but I don't know. So it kind of, in my opinion, kind of sucks that they're cutting the co-op because they're like, oh, we'd have to restructure it. I'm like, well, good, then do that.
Yeah, at least do it as DLC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I assume it was a PSP game, so I assume it was probably $40, and you just slap a code of HD on there, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like 60 when it comes out. So yeah, I kind of want you to not take content out if you're gonna charge me more. But yeah, I don't know. So I mean, I still want to try the game, but I'm a little bit less enthusiastic about it. Even though I don't know if the multiplayer mode's any good, it just sucks that they're like, oh well, we could make it work, but we want to bring it out quickly, so no. And like, yeah, you did that with FF7, and granted that made you a ton of money, but it still sucked that you cut crap to bring it out faster.
Yeah, I will admit that game looks awesome. I
Cool.
haven't liked most of the new Final Fantasies, but when I was talking to, I believe it was Marcus, and I showed him the trailer. Like I said, I was tempted to get that. I know he was thinking, like, with the easy mode, the reason they've done that is because the game, apparently, from what some people were saying, felt like it was designed for multiplayer. And it's like, well, without multiplayer, they have to make it easier because you're doing the work of two people or so. And I'm like, well, maybe true, but I haven't experienced the multiplayer. It just looks cool. But it still sucks that it's gone.
Yeah.
Because I so could have teamed up with Rick.
Yes. So yeah, that was.
It looks kind of cool. And it's also, isn't it a different type of MMO or a different type of RPG to Final Fantasy? Sorry.
Yeah, RPG? It looks. Yeah, it does. It looks more like more tactical, I guess, in a way.
yeah. It's a tactical RPG, or whatever they said, or real-time tactical RPG.
Yeah.
Which that could be fun. I know Richter likes his tactical RPGs.
I do.
And my news, which is just, I took this just because it was hilarious. There is other news that was better, but I really like this news for the hilariousness. In July, ex-military dictator, and I hope I'm saying this correctly. If I'm not, please, dictator, I'm sorry. Manuel Noriega filed a lawsuit against Activision over his depiction in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Today, Activision said that they filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit, calling it absolutely absurd. In a press release issued this morning, Activision has recruited former New York City Mayor Rudy. How do you pronounce it? Rudy
Giuliano.
Thank you. I should have known that. I know that name because I've seen that on stuff like City Guys and stuff. It's just reading the word. It's like it begins with a gas. I'm like Giuliani. But okay, Rudy Giuliani has a law firm to handle the suit, which they're calling frivolous. Here's what they said though. What's astonishing is that Manuel Noriega, a notorious dictator who is imprisoned for the heinous crimes he committed, is now upset about being portrayed as a criminal and enemy of the state in the game Call of Duty. Quite simply, it's absurd. Giuliani said in a press release. And they also said, I'm not interested in giving hands out. I'm not giving. Sorry, let me say it start again. They also said, I'm not interested in giving handouts to a convicted murderer, a drug smuggler like Manuel Norwegia, who is demanding money from Activision and its popular Call of Duty franchise for simply existing, for simply exercising its right to free speech. Noriana's attack on the right to Call of Duty, though, comes as no surprise to us, considering he's a lawless tyrant who trampled over the rights of his own people. Juicy. During the I don't know what it says juicy, but juicy during the campaign of Black Ops 2, Norwegia pops up in the mission Suffer with Me, which he took issue with. In his lawsuit earlier this year, Norwegia alleged that the portrayal personally damaged him and that it was a blatant misuse, unlawful exploitation and misappropriation for economic gain.
That's totally what it was.
That's what happened. Don't you just hate it when people do unlawful exploitations, dictators?
I like, hey, that betrayal paints me in a negative light. Now, excuse me while I trample all over human rights, throw people in jail unlawfully, and peddle drugs.
Yeah, that's why I love the fact that, as you said, I'm not interested in giving handouts to convicted murderer, drug smuggler like Manuela, and it's just just a wonderful response. It's not even like we've got no comment at this time. It's just like, no, fuck you, you murderer and drug smuggling scum.
We need more responses like that. It makes me wonder how that was able to be said. Usually people are so PC, like, well, this alleged. He's just like, no, we ain't giving money to you. You're a horrible person.
Yep. That's exactly the same response as Activision gave me when I tried to sue Skylanders for the use of my likeness for Trigger Happy. And I was like, but I'm not an unlawful tyrant. And they were like, we've seen SimCity. I was like, touche. We've seen your Dynasty Warrior Empire. I'm like, yeah, okay, touche. But no, now it's time for the catch-up this week. And I believe the music I went with last time was Catch-Up.
Yay.
And since we'll stick with the same order, over to Pew for her catch-up game.
Alright, I've been playing more of Professor Layton. It's been really fun. We're going to do a special review on this, so I won't say anything too spoilerific.
You're doing a review on Professor Layton? I thought you were doing a review on Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, all that.
Oh, so you just forgot Phoenix Wright, okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, the game itself forgot Phoenix Wright.
Well, Capcom.
The game itself kind of forgot Phoenix Wright, so that's not my fault. He's totally a side character in this. Like, it really is. Like, every time Phoenix Wright gets stuck, like, Professor Layton's there to help him out. So it really feels like the Phoenix Wright bit is a side character. There's a reason his name is second, in the titling, but like enough more on that like later. But it's like really fun. I like it. I like the characters, the chibi. I like how it's more Professor Layton style because I'm more familiar with that series. And yeah, more about that later in an official review setting with a very angry Asian.
Nice.
And possibly Richter.
He should go with that, actually, the very angry Asian.
And speaking of the angry Asian, it's over to the angry Asian's handler that sometimes brings him out on chains when he feeds him buckets of fish heads. Richter.
I approve.
2K15 tag team entrance right there.
Yeah, I want to see that. So, anyway, game I played the most this week, was on PS3. It's called Fairy Fencer F. It is RPG. The battle system is very similar to the Neptunia games. So you kind of move around and pick attacks, and you can buy more attacks. So you can do like a combo, and your weapon is basically it's a weapon that has a fairy inside of it called a Fury. And I keep wanting to say furry for some reason. But yeah, you get the fairy's like other people can see it, so it's not like, oh, I'm imagining a fairy. No, like it actually comes out and talks to people. But but they can like turn into different weapons. So like let's say the first guy you get, his default weapon's a sword, but you can buy like fist techniques and stuff. So like in the combo, you can turn it into different weapons, which RPG style will do. Or some enemies are more susceptible to different weapon types and stuff. Yes.
I wanted to ask you, Rick.
Yes.
When you say the fairy comes out, do you mean like hello, or do you mean like hello?
I mean like hello.
Okay.
Just normal. Yeah. No. There's. No, but it's actually. Yeah. Yeah. There's no. Well, I mean, there's a guy that probably dresses like Simon, but he doesn't act like Simon. But it's actually a really fun game. I kept playing it. I kept wanting to play more and more, but it was really fun, and the plot's pretty good. The characters, like, I had to grow to like the characters when you first meet them all. Like, just about everyone is annoying. Like, well, your main character's like like wants to eat all the time, and he's a total slacker, and then his fairy just kind of nags him, and you meet this girl who's really like she like dresses all nice and she acts like a refined person, but she's nasty as heck, so she has lots of backhanded compliments, and then you meet this like busty slovenly fairy researcher, and I don't know, it's just as you go along you start to get to know the characters more, so they have good developments, but like when you first meet any character you're like, God, I hate this person. But also the one thing that's cool is the fairies are all different. So like the guy you start with, he gets like a girl, and she's like, she has like fairy wings or whatever. She looks kind of like a stereotypical fairy. She's like person size though, so it's not like little Tinkerbell or something. And then the next party member you get, she has like a little, it looks like a kitty, is like hers. And then the fairy researcher, she gets this like big muscular dude who cooks and cleans, and probably my favorite one so far is this dude gets like a robot. And I'm like, that one looks awesome.
Is that like Pokemon where you can catch other fairies, like besides just your starter fairy?
Yes. Basically, though, the way it works is the fairy that you start with always, that makes your weapon, and you can equip basically a secondary fairy to get other effects, so you can, change up what you have. It still won't affect what one you have initially. It's just like a sub fairy, basically, you can equip.
Ah, cool.
But yeah, so you're always stuck with the one.
I thought like Pokemon, like coming out the Pokeball.
No, they're not like trapped in the weapon. Well, they can. Well, I guess I don't think they're trapped in the weapon until someone pulls it out. So it's kind of like somewhat Arthurian, where like only certain people can like wield the weapons, and then the fairy appears for you or whatever.
If anyone's listening, can we please just if you're listening, just remix the phrase then they're trapped in the weapon until someone just whips it out. Can someone please just make that like a dance track? Maybe instead that's what Rick do. Whip it out. That's what Rick do.
Trapped with his weapon, then he whips it out.
Yeah, but it sounds like that game is fun.
It is really fun. I like it. I played it a lot.
Did you say that was PS3?
Yeah, it's PS3. There is, I don't know if it's a sequel or not, because just when I was playing it, I looked it up on Game FAQs to try to find some item or whatever, and I saw that there's another game on PS4, and I don't know if it's like a sequel or like an enhanced version. I'm not sure which it is, but there's one coming out for that, and I'm like, ooh, I hope that comes out here, because I really liked the game. It was pretty good. It was funny, too.
Nice.
Does the robot fairy have wings?
He has like
jetpack.
Kinda. I don't know. He has like it's like a jetpack, but like kind of like wings. So it's kind of like Gundam wings. I don't know what to call it. Like not actual wings, but it's like those metal things that stick out, and it looks like boost would come out of them. He kind of looks like that.
I know you're on about.
Yeah. Oh, and also one cool thing is. There's like a little meter near your health or whatever, and if you fill that up, you can combine with the fairy, and you get like armor bits on, and you're like more powerful, and you can do super moves, and it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I played this week.
Nice. And the game I played this week is I'm gonna go with Hyrule Warriors.
Hate you. Die.
See, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, that was a reasonable response.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Hyrule Warriors just
The
because.
very angry Anastasia. Ah, it's the same letters.
Yeah, just because the other game I played this week I talked about doing around the pound, and no doubt it's going to come up again when I
Yeah.
get other play sets and stuff like that. But Hyrule Warriors I played, which it's kind of cool. There's there's technically three modes, but I didn't touch one of them. One of them's like free combat, which I didn't touch, but there's a story mode which has actually put the world into a logical position, which I loved. Which I'm not going to give away major spoilers, but I will say the enemy says, aha, and opens up portals when she gets the Triforce. This is pretty early on. And she goes, aha, so now I summon my new portals across time and space so that all the minions can come from any era and stuff. And you just see loads of different eras and stuff. And as a result, when I went down the list of levels where branches and you get to pick multiple, I got like Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, and stuff like that you could go through, which means it's a logical reason why you're going back to these Legend of Zelda places, because someone's brought all the enemies there. And if you don't want to go with the timeline stuff, the space part means you can just pretend it's an alternate world, but the time part implies that it's in the timeline, so everyone's happy. It's simple, it's to the point, and everyone's happy with a reason for why you get the different troops.
I won't be happy.
What was that?
I won't be happy until Friday.
Yeah, fair enough. The other mode I played was Adventure mode, where it takes you into like a little pixel version, you get to go around the map. I was totally being chic and doing that, which was kind of fun, where it just like challenges, like defeat all the enemies, or defeat all the enemies with, like a certain person, like a water person or something, which is kind of cool. And they've added some new people, and each time you do it, you get new weapons. There's like a crafting system to help level up your person. There's loads of depth there, and it's pretty fun. And we've played Dynasty Warriors, and I know all of us here have played at least one, but you go through like Dynasty Warriors mode, but like Zelda, you also have to go back through the level once you've gotten like a certain item, like a bomb, to then open up the part where you couldn't get through by blowing it up with the bomb or cutting the vines with a boomerang and stuff like that. It's fun. They've done a pretty damn good job, and some of those moves are awesome. My favorite character is Sheik, and she has a move, Rick, which I loved. I took a photo of it for just Twitter, but I totally loved it. Basically, each enemies have like a weakness meter above their head.
Right.
And if you can activate it quick, which she can do, if you can activate it quick, she can go and she cuts through them really fast, like really anime-ish. And then she goes, wow, does a slash with her harp, turns around dramatically as the enemy then falls over, damaged like a sentai, and I'm like, that's wonderful. I love that move. And she also has like moves where you use the harp and it just summons light that lifts everyone up and explodes them and stuff. And it's fun as hell. And playing through in multiplayer was great, because I played through and I let the Crispy be Link, and he was Link with like a new sword and stuff. And I haven't got this yet, but I know through the story mode he managed to unlock the Master Sword that he can then equip. But I didn't have the Master Sword yet, so I'm just using a normal sword. But I love, like I said, I love Sheik, and I love the fact there's multiple different styles. So yeah, Hyrule Warriors, when it comes out there, you guys will totally love it.
I hope so.
So I think Rick will love it more.
Of course.
The only reason I say Rick will love it more is I think it's more Dynasty Warriors than it is Zelda, but that's not a bad thing, because it is a spin-off, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
And the people who make this game have said they're also talking about and considering hoping that they can do one with Mario in the Mushroom Kingdom. They said that today, which, yeah, Dynasty Warriors Mario, I'd so buy it. Tanuki suit. It'd be weird as hell though. Like everyone would be like Fire Mario, where you have to equip it and start using the fire to kill all the Goombas. But it'd be awesome. I'd buy. But yeah, that's what I played this week, which means it's time to go to our topic, which I believe last time it was topic. Which yeah, it's time for the awards. Which these are the worst, and by worst, what we actually mean is our personal least favorite, like ones that have let us down the most, or like these may not actually be the worst in these categories. They're just games that we personally didn't like for various reasons.
Yeah, we did. There were ones we had to play, so
Yeah, but I
that's
will
why
say,
like everyone's worst game wasn't like Colonial
yeah,
Marines, because I don't think all of us have played it.
I have.
I know you have. I'm sorry. I
It's
wasn't even involved, but I feel the need to apologize because that game just sounds so bad. Like what I've seen of it, I feel I should apologize.
I also played all of Duke Nukem Forever.
That would have. I feel like, well, I don't know. It seems like that game wasn't quite as bad. It was just 10 years too late. Like,
That game was also bad because of how
yeah,
disjointed it was, and some parts of it
yeah,
were really fucking broken. The Alien one was more bad because of how it was structured. Like, it was too obvious that where these things were going to come and stuff. But,
right.
but yeah, these are our awards. And I will also say, yay for the Europe getting the Legend of Zelda game first. Woo!
Yay.
Only because I don't know how big a Legend of Zelda fan Richter is, but I believe the Crispy may be the biggest Zelda fan. So it's time for our awards.
Yes.
First up, management game. Over to Pew. Over to Pew. Did she totally do the gym thing?
Oh, she's not even in the convo.
Did she just leave because we were discussing The Legend of Zelda?
I don't know. I don't know when she cut out. I wasn't paying attention to her. That was the problem. Stacy, come back. Maybe we should sing.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
There we are.
Now we can.
See, it worked.
Half the power in my house just went out, so I just plugged the internet back into the kitchen. So
It seemed like you raged quit because the biggest Legend of Zelda fan at the Crispy got to play the game first.
oh no, it's just literally I'm sitting in like darkness because only my kitchen has power, and like that's it. Like I don't even know what the hell.
You clearly must have overloaded it, most likely with that new space heater.
I don't think so. I mean,
It's possible. It's possible. Space heaters take a buttload of power.
But like other stuff that wasn't even on it is like not turning on.
Yeah, but if you've blown it, you'll have blown if you blow like a fuse or a socket or something, it can basically do it until you go to your fuse box and turn it on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll like my landlord about that or something.
She doesn't know where it is, so she'll just leave it.
It's fine. But we're on to the worst awards. Pew Pew, take us away with your management game.
Okay, management game.
Management game.
Oh, okay. Worst management game is Sim Coaster.
Sorry, I haven't played it.
I didn't like it because a lot of times I felt like the people in there were too bitchy. Like the best part of it was you get to make and ride your own roller coaster, but this roller coaster's too high. I don't like so many soda stands near me. It's like you don't like the convenience I'm giving you, really? Shut up, kid. You're stupid. Like
That's how those games work. It's so you learn to play stuff better instead of just, oh, I'm just going to do a whole row of soda places. It's like, no, that's too many.
it wasn't. It was just two. Okay, it was two different soda stands. Okay, and this kid was like, I don't like the way this park looks. Well, thanks for your like specificness there, you know.
That means add decorations.
I just didn't like the kids, and you know, if they don't like my park, they don't have to come. Get the fuck out.
Something I always like to do in games like that, when it was like those type of roller coaster games or the theme park ones, which actually might have been that game. Something I always used to love to do was deliberately put too much sugar in the drinks, which made them need food, put too much salt in the food, so they need a drink. And then as a result, they may be miserable as fuck. I didn't care. I was just raking in the money because they were constantly in the loop of having to go back and forth between the two, getting me shitloads of money. And then toilets right next to them that I actually put a price on to get in.
Did anyone actually ride the rides, or did they just go like, I'm thirsty, crap, I'm hungry, oh, I'm thirsty, and they just kept doing that, now I gotta pee?
Oh, I didn't have rides.
Even they're like, oh.
No, I'm kidding, I had rides. Some of them went to rides, and some of them would go to the gift shops and stuff. My gift shops were reasonably priced, but and the food and drink, I put it deliberately cheaper than what it should be. So technically I was losing I was almost breaking even, just making like $1 if that on everything. But the sheer amount of times they had to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there was also an ice cream one there too, because you had the dessert one. If ice cream did something that affected whether or not they needed food or drink, and the food or drink basically you do it, and they'd have to go back and forth between 3 stands. It was hilarious.
Nice.
But what was Richter's management game?
Okay, I wasn't sure. Probably the most disappointing one would be The Sims. Does that count as a management game?
Yeah, I would count that.
Okay.
That's a life management game.
Because when I first played that game, I loved that game for like a week, and then all of a sudden, I just clicked in my brain of like just how much I didn't like that game, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm done, and I just I was like, I don't like that game anymore.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I only played the first one, and I did like it at first, but I don't know, it was just weird that like I had to tell them every time after they go to the bathroom to like wash their hands, and I'm like, well, they're not like a 4-year-old.
We're supposed to wash our hands.
You're supposed to, yeah. And also, well, my favorite thing to rage about is like when you tell them to take out the trash, and they're like, got this, and then they like start walking, and there's somebody standing in the doorway talking. And they're like, oh, I can't throw it out. Oh, well. And they just put the trash on the floor and walk away. And I'm like, if someone did that in real life, you'd take a spear and throw it through their head. Like,
you should try out with your wife one day. Say to her, I'm going to take out the rubbish. And time it so Marcus will be able to come into your house. And when he stands in the doorway, sorry, you can't take it out, Marcus. And the doorway, just drop it on the floor and just leave.
Just walk
Make sure
away.
you rip the bag open too, so it's spread like they did on
yeah.
Which is, like I said, it's fair enough. These are our personal ones. I like The Sims, but I can understand not everyone does.
Yeah.
There is some fucked up stuff in that. But my favourite thing in that is when someone dies.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
Because I loved being able to bribe the Grim Reaper with a pizza to bring my loved one back to life. It's like, genius! Why hasn't anyone tried this in real life? It's genius! Daft, don't take my loved one, I have pizza.
Okay. Well, don't you normally have to just play him at Battleship and stuff in Twister?
Oh yeah, you can do that as well. And you can also friend him. The most hilarious part for me was on one of them, on one of the Sims games, can't remember which one, I friended Death. After he refused to bring like my wife back to life. And he just left her dead, but it was cool because I had my BFF of Death. So I'd go into town, like invite to the arcade, to the gym, or something, and we'd have a party. Oh, and you know what this party needs? Death, and I'd invite Death. It's like, wow, why is this a thing?
Talking about that, you called me.
Oh, I called you.
Yeah, you called me.
Pew Pew? Is it possible for you to mute?
You with Google,
No, this is funny.
I should do something.
Uh-oh.
I was thinking call host and muting her. But I think she's back.
I am.
Okay, yeah, but we just were warning you we could hear you. I was tempted to mute you, but it's cool. And my least favourite one, I put Jurassic Park Operation Genesis on the PS2. Because I love these park management games. And Jurassic Park as a park management just writes itself. But then they added shooter elements and all this action stuff. Like, oh, okay, now you have to go and hunt down the dinosaurs with guns to capture them. It's like, no. Or a tornado will get rid of half your fence. Now you have to go in a helicopter and shoot the shit out of the dinosaurs until and then drag them back and then place a wall. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just wanted to manage it. I just wanted to have fun being in charge of Jurassic Park. I didn't want to kill my dinosaurs or shoot them. And yeah, admittedly, some parts were fun. Like, I'd absolutely love getting like a whole load of like I think it was Stegosauruses or something like that, and putting them together till they had loads of babies. Then taking the adults, putting them in another pen, then dropping a T-Rex with the babies. Hey,
It seems like
a
that's
T-Rex
one
has
of
to
the yeah.
eat.
That is true. That's cheaper than flaying in sheep all the time.
Yeah.
I just find it funny that it's like we're gonna take a park sim game and combine it with Jurassic Park. How do you mess that up?
Exactly. How the fuck do you mess that up? You shouldn't be able to mess that up. That just writes itself. That's like the people who fucked up the Matrix Online. It wrote itself, people. But now it's time for the worst hack and slash. Over to Pew.
I didn't have a worst hack and slash.
Okay, that's cool. Over to Rick.
Oh.
All right. So for mine, I chose Digimon World 4.
Is it loading?
While the first 3 were RPGs, number 4 was more like Gauntlet or Baldur's Gate. So it was definitely not an RPG. It was like an action RPG hack and slash, and it was really disappointing. Yeah, it's well, it like tried to be. It gave you like a block, but it's basically a parry, so you had to time your block, and just the game played really. It was really clunky, and it was very unforgiving for You think that at least with the Digimon property, not everyone that's playing is going to be like 20 something. You're going to get some of the younger kids, and it's like way too difficult for that, and it's even punishing for people that know how to play. Like it was not very well made. It was not good.
That does sound terrible. And like I said, that's a shame when you mentioned about the shift, because I'll admit I only ever played Digimon World 1, I think it was, where you got to like eat the shit and your Digimon would become a shit.
Yeah.
But it was awesome where you got to walk around like Pokemon on a console. That was brilliant. How the hell did you change? Why would you change that? It's a format that worked. That's a great game.
Yeah.
My worst hack and slash. God of War Ascension. Because A, it didn't need to exist. And B, it did exist. But C, they added multiplayer, which at first sounded really good, and it sounded great, and I'd heard some positive things, and I played it. It was really shit. Because if you were a new player, you were incapable of leveling up and getting some of the weapons and stuff, because the people that played it more and were higher ups had all the skills and all the weapons to just come in and one-shot you. So it became almost unplayable on the multiplayer. And the actual storyline, I believe Richter put it best when he said, hang on, I need to do a Richter impression. Howdy, yo. What I did... No, that's a horrible Richter impression.
Wow.
Yeah.
when he said that it seemed to be, a lot of it seemed to be disgusting gore for the sake of it. I mean, some of the models were cool, don't get me wrong, and some of the gameplay was cool. But it didn't need to exist. It's a storyline that felt like, why are you doing this? And it was just overly sick for no reason.
Yeah.
Essentially, they took everything that was good about God of War, removed it, and released it as a game.
Yeah, that was easily the worst God of War, so I definitely agree. That was a terrible game.
Yep. And now, worst party game. Over to Pew. Over to Pew.
She's flipping her circuits.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I don't know.
Let's go with Rick.
Okay, so for mine, worst party game, the only one I could really remember that I played that I really didn't like was I I believe it's Wii Play. That was the one that came with the extra remote, right?
It was.
Yeah, where like really the reason you I mean I think you've even said this too of like the way they sold it because I mean I sold pre-reserves for it, but it's like yeah it's like spending only $10 extra for than the controller to get the game, and considering how good Wii Sports was, like that game that was really fun and that was a pack-in one, and Wii Play I'm like, oh, it'll be like that. No.
That's the mistake
Like-
I made.
Yeah, like the tank game was okay, but it got really boring really fast. And the cow jumping, same thing. Like it was kind of fun the first time. Nothing else on there was fun at all. Like,
Alright,
it was
sorry, I'm
so-
back. The power was out for like the whole neighborhood.
Fair enough. What the hell did you do?
That's
But
a
no,
really big space heater.
Yeah. But I'll just say, yeah, I'll disagree, Rick.
Uh-huh.
But only because I found all the games on that fucking terrible except ice hockey. Which when I was playing, I was like, this is brilliant. Wait, this is just fucking Pong. you can't mess Pong up. You can't. But that's the thing with that game. Everyone had one game that they liked, and the
Yeah.
rest was shit.
Yeah.
Well, if you like stuff like that, you should really try Wii Music.
No, I think I'm good.
I own that.
I believe it. I almost did.
I wanted to try because I was like, oh my god, there's gonna be like Guitar Hero meets Wii Sports. Fuck off and take my money. I mean, and it's even got a jam section, but it just underwhelmed the shit out of me. It's not my least
Yeah.
favorite, but it just underwhelmed the shit out of me. It's like
Well, I
anything
kind
that
of-
wasn't made by Nintendo was basically anything on the Wii that wasn't followed by sports. If it had Wii at the start as the title, was shit.
Yeah. Like with Wii Music, before that came out, I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool, and I was people that may have known stuff ahead of time would shake their head at me and say no. So I was like, okay, then I'll steer clear of that.
And Pew, worst party game ever. Ever.
Is she back? She's like a waitress. Like if we don't like respond immediately when she comes back, she just leaves again.
Yeah.
I think it's Mario Party 2. No, I don't know. That was her favorite, so I'm gonna troll her.
Her least favorite was like New Super Mario Brothers Wii because it started with like a birthday party, so that must be a party like game, right?
I don't think. No, I didn't work when they retail when they sold that game, but I remember I was joking that like if a parent bought that for like multiple children, they hated their kids.
Mario Wii?
The new Super Mario Brothers on the Wii, yeah.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah, but you could be so mean to other people in that game.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. No, not like it was bad, but like if you had like two children and you're like, I don't like you, here, play this together, because they will be like biting each other by the end of the day.
Oh, I'll admit, I've done that before now where we were playing through a level and we'd lift someone up and sometimes it'd happen if you helped them, where you'd lift them up to help them, when you'd accidentally just chuck Crispy into a tornado to his death, which was then followed by, sorry, that was an accident. He's like, you're laughing! That's not an accident! And I'm like, it totally was an accident. I'd believe you if it wasn't like the 5th time.
It's an accident and it's funny. It can be both.
Yeah, it could be both. But okay, I'll go with my worst part. Yeah, we can hear you now, Ish, but you're really quiet.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why.
Worst party game.
Okay, I said Mario Party 8. I was kind of screaming at my computer before I realized you couldn't hear me. But it's Mario Party 8. Because, like, I don't know. Mario Party 1 through 3, perfect. Everything else, like, shit. Pretty much just went downhill. Shitty items, shitty mushrooms. I hate, like, some of the new characters I don't like. I like when Toad was the star holder. I feel like everything went downhill, man.
Oh, I'm so glad Toad got relegated. That's what he deserves for Mario and Sonic.
You just hate Toad with a passion.
Fucking Toad.
Oh
But
my god.
I can understand. Like I said, I can understand that. Like because it's like what I always said, it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I liked all the Mario Party games, but I understand some people didn't like certain ones and stuff, which is fair enough. That's why each one's different and
Yeah.
each game's different.
Mhm.
My least favorite, Seen It on PS3. You have the Buzz controllers, which were in my favorite for Buzz. You do it like a game show. You have clips from movies like the Seen It board game. You move around the board game to play it with each other. How the fuck do you fuck this up? But somehow, like one time we'd go around the board and it was the same 5 questions. Over and over again in the same fucking board. And it's like, what?
Wow.
Well, and there was very limited questions. Or it was really shitty randomization.
Mm.
Either or, but that game, it was unfun to play because after a while you just memorized everything.
Right.
And it just felt it let me down because that was like that should have been so good because I love movie quizzes and stuff, and that was just disappointing. I loved the board game Seen It, and yeah, I loved the board game Seen It. I love Buzz. You put the two together and you fucked it up. But now over to Pew for worst spaceship shoot 'em up. Our next category: worst spaceship shoot 'em up. You were really quiet.
Here we go. Okay, so
Stop doing that. But yeah.
it's only reading my headset right now. It turned off like the computer microphone.
Good, you should be on a headset for the recording.
It's just that I wasn't using it before and I didn't expect it to change. Okay, so shoot 'em up. Where was it?
I explained what we were hearing all those background noises and all the talking and stuff, Rick.
Hey yo.
Yeah, that was my
Internal.
neighbor bill.
Yeah, but worst spaceship shoot 'em up, go.
Oh, I don't have one for that since I didn't play very many space shoot 'em ups that I hated.
Yeah, okay. Over to Rick.
All right. Mine is a game called Saint on the Wii. It's side-scrolling shooter where you play as I believe it's the one where you oh wait, well there's like there's two that are super similar, which is funny. This one you play as like a mystical being who I think rides on a cloud. It's like very similar to the Monkey King, and there's also one called the Monkey King. And I might mix these games up because they were both really crappy. And
Make it a tie. Cover your basis. Make it a tie.
there you go, yeah. Well, they were both really similar. Like one was vertical, one was horizontal. No, they were both horizontal, but they were both crappy. Yeah, sure, might as well make it a tie. But it was just you move really slow, and like the power-ups were okay, but there wasn't like much variety. Like it was just you would just get a better shot. Like there was no like one is stronger but doesn't spread, one spreads. There was nothing fun like that or interesting. Your hitbox was a little too big. However, the game was like just ridiculously easy. Like you didn't really run out of lives, and it wasn't that hard to not get hit, even though you were big and slow. And it just got so boring. And I don't remember which one of the two it was. There was one where like you get to the final boss and beat it, and then you had to like fight your way back. And I'm like, what? So you like go backwards through the stages. I'm like, this is stupid. Like it was so boring. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I just turned it off. It was so bad. They're both on the Wii. If one is, because yeah, there's Saint, and then there's I think it's Legend of the Monkey King, and they're just don't play those. If you like, spaceship shooters, shmups, don't play those two. They're bad.
Or games in general.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I went with Pixel Junk Shooter on the PS3.
Mm.
This may sound like a weird choice, but I loved Pixel Junk Monsters. I loved Pixel Junk Racers. So when I went to buy Pixel Junk Shooter, I'm like, I don't like this. I like the series, and I don't know why this game just didn't click for me. I haven't played many spaceship shoot-ups. That's the only reason this one made my list. But I just felt let down because I liked all the other pixel junks except for this one, Pixel Junk Shooter. I don't know if anyone else here has played it, but it let me down compared to the other Pixel Junk games.
I think I played the demo of it.
But fair enough.
Was there a demo of it?
There may have been like one of those trial unlock games.
Yeah. Are you like a yellow ship or submarine?
I think so.
Because there was one that I had the demo for it, and yeah, it wasn't that good, and my kid played it a lot. And at some point, it was like, no, you've played the demo too much, and it wouldn't even boot up anymore. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna buy it if I can play the demo too much. Yeah, no.
But now it's crossover. Worst crossover game. Over to Pew.
That would.
Again, stop doing this. Remember where you got to speak.
Sorry. That would be. Soul Calibur 5.
Fair enough.
That was the one with the Star Wars one, and it's again just the pull things out of place.
Wasn't 4 the one with the Star Wars? 5 the one with the Assassin's Creed guy?
Oh, then
Yeah,
4
yes.
then. Sorry. Star Wars, not Star Wars. fucking Soul Calibur 4 then.
Fair enough. And keep your headset on, Pew Pew.
Alright.
Does that mean she wasn't able to hear us properly? But yeah, over to Rick for worst crossover.
Well, you're coming to the computer. It's only the microphone will be on the headset.
Fair enough.
Okay. For me, the worst crossover game was a game called Cross Edge on PS3. I was super excited for that game coming out because it had a couple original characters, but it had like characters from Darkstalkers and the Atelier games and all these niche JRPGs, and then of course Capcom people. But they had the Prinny in it and stuff from Disgaea, and I'm like, oh, this game sounds so cool, and I bought it, or I pre-reserved it from the online store, and then I got it shipped to me, and it was just not good. Because the battle system was like you're on a grid versus other people on a grid, and I'd already played a game called Enchanted Arms, which had a similar concept where they pulled it off. Enchantment. But where they actually pulled off that combination perfectly fine, but in Cross Edge they didn't. So it had some good stuff in it, but the battle system was just freaking terrible because you couldn't move and attack in one turn. So if you were ambushed, it would mess up your order, where you put the characters. So then you'd lose the turn because they would go first, they would hit you, and then you had to waste your turn putting your people back where they go. So you'd lose 2 turns. I'm like, that's stupid. And it was also stupid easy to miss characters because it was you had when you would weaken a character to within a certain a boss or whatever that you can recruit later, you could weaken them within they were less than 25%, let's say, I don't remember what it was, they would run away, and if they ran away you could never recruit them. And so you'd have to do it, so you'd have to get them close and then completely they just murder the rest of their health in one turn, which is hard to do if you're just playing the game normally, and if you don't know that, you're screwed. And there were some bosses you had to fight them like that 2 or 3 times, and then you'd get them later. And it was just, I hate missing stuff in games, and this one made it really easy, and and the battle system was not fun, and it made me sad because it had really cool characters in it, but it was not fun.
Fair enough.
It was not fun.
It was not fun.
And in a similar vein, because it also includes Capcom people and it's not fun, Marvel v Capcom 3 on PS3. Oh my god, they advertised it with trailers of basically oh look, there's Hulk with Chris, what the hell's going on there and all this, and it's okay, this is cool. I can't wait to see the story of this game. No story. Fair enough, you didn't want story because you wanted to keep this a hardcore fighting game, I can respect that. Boom, easy mode, or really easy, really casually easy.
Right.
To the point where I set it on the easiest one, we get to press one button and do all the moves, and my nephew absolutely loved playing through that as Spider-Man. And I'm like, that shouldn't be the case with a Capcom. You can't say you'll really be trying to be a hardcore game, then go out your way to be easy as fuck. And even on the harder difficulties, it was easy as fuck to play through the main arcade modes and stuff. against the computer as a human. And it's like, oh, not as a human, you know what I mean? As a player.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's stupid. And parts of it just felt really broken, and parts of it just felt dumb. And the Galactus fight at the end was just, that was just so painstakingly annoying. Not because it was hard, just because it was like, okay, he's not hitting me now, but I can't hurt him. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then when you finally could hurt him, it's like, okay, and then all his health would go, and I'm like, that was extremely easy considering he's fucking Galactus.
Yeah, he should be like, I don't know, really hard to beat. He's fucking destroyer of worlds, and you're like, boop,
Yeah.
done.
Now, I believe they may have fixed some of this with Ultra Street Fighter, Ultra Marvel v Capcom 3, or whatever it was called, but Marvel v Capcom 3, it just disappoints me. I loved Marvel v Capcom. I loved Marvel v Capcom 2. I hated Marvel v Capcom 3. Really fucking hated it. Just, no, that was not fun.
It was not fun.
It was not.
Yeah, they did a lot of missteps with that game.
Yeah, from everything from like to the get-go, from just advertising it wrong, because it made me feel like there was going to be a story.
Yeah, it really did seem like that. It's like, no, just fight people and then Galactus, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And now music game. Most disappointing music game? Pew pew.
Most disappointing music game was the Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s on PS2. You guys know that game?
Yes.
I do.
I didn't like the song selection in there, and it felt like it was like, if you know, it's the last Guitar Hero game, I think.
Wait, you just insulted 80s music? I'm holding it back.
No, I like 80s music. I didn't like the music selection there. I like 80s music. I just didn't like their selection of 80s music.
Fair enough.
Like, I felt like a lot of the good 80s songs were, like, not there.
That makes sense.
Like, this isn't the 80s. Your representation of the 80s is a lie.
My guess is probably because the best 80s songs were probably released in other Guitar Heroes, and they expected everyone, like, which is one of the reasons the series went downhill, they expected everyone to buy every one and import the songs into every version to get all the songs, and it's like, no one's spending all this money to get these every year, considering most of the time you bundle it with a brand new type of guitar.
Yeah, so I just felt like I didn't like the song selection, and I don't know, it didn't work for me, because I usually play these games, honestly, with my parents, and they didn't like it either.
Fair enough. And as people know, when it comes to video games, parents are always right.
Oh, no. They're usually wrong, because I can't tell you.
Did we just lose Stacy?
I don't know. Yes.
I think we just lost Pew Pew, like, mid-sentence.
That just happened.
It did.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, there we go, yeah.
Okay, I don't know why my headset turned off. But, like, my mom, she gets the biggest kick out of frickin' Wii Sports Resort and, like, seeing her Mii's do stuff. Like, she just goes nuts when she sees that, and she starts laughing hysterically. She thinks that's the coolest, most innovative thing ever.
So what you're saying is your parents are always wrong, and they agree with your opinion. Cool.
Shut up, Mike.
Over to Rick.
I hate you.
Okay, for me, worst music game, most disappointing, was Rhythm Heaven on the DS. Where it was, I don't know what I was expecting from it. It was a while ago, but you know, it was like, oh, I kind of like rhythm games, and it's like a cross between a rhythm game and WarioWare, just because they're almost like little games of themselves, where it's like, oh, this one you tap with the beat and you build a robot, and I don't even remember what the other ones are, but like. It didn't feel like it was synced up properly. Like I would hit it in time with the music, and it'd be like, nope, late, and I'm like, what? And it just, I played it for like 20 minutes, and I hate that game. I still have it probably somewhere because I don't think it trades in for anything. And I didn't even want to like sully my glass using it as a coaster. But yeah,
Take it out back, get your kid to throw in the angle, pull with your rifle.
There you go.
I'd like to see Rick do that with bad games and DVDs and stuff. He
That would be
couldn't
awesome.
trade in anymore. Pull. But But mine, this was going to be a weird choice, but again, it's personal. I went with Disney Sing It on PS3. Because, yeah, they advertised it on TV here as all your favorite Disney songs. Disney Sing It. And I'm like, fuck yes. I'm gonna get that game, and I'm gonna be like white on rice all over fucking like Be Prepared, or Hakuna Matata, or any of those songs that I love from Disney. Hannah Montana songs. And
I think I was
Jonas
there when you were
Brothers
checking it out.
songs. And Wizards of Waverly Place songs. And it's like, these are all Disney Channel shows. What the fuck? Years later, they actually brought out one with classic Disney music. Fair enough. This one
Real
just wasn't
Disney
it.
Sing It.
Yeah. This one, Disney Sing It classic hits or greatest hits or something. And this one was billed as being, at one point, Disney's, all of your favorite Disney songs. And none of these were still my favorite Disney songs.
Yeah.
None of these were even songs I consider Disney songs.
Yeah, wow.
And I'm just like, you just let me down. My niece at the time absolutely loved it because she was all totally into Hannah Montana and stuff. Fair enough,
Yeah.
good for her. As someone that didn't like that and really wanted to sing Hakuna Matata at the top of my lungs without everyone in the room looking at me like I'm a freak because there's no music playing, which happens like twice a day. It's a case of that never happened, but well, sometimes. But yeah, it's a case of
doing a duet.
yeah, it's just a case of I really wanted to sing that. I'm like, and ironically, you mentioned Crispy with a duet, Stace. Because when I got that game, I got the game originally, I got it, I lent it to my brother and he played it with my niece and stuff in his room and stuff. When I got it, I plugged it in here with the microphones. I'm like, come on, Chris, come on. You can do it. You can be like, when I was a young warthog.
Oh my god.
And he's like,
Nice.
okay, fine, I'll do it. We plug it in. We don't know any of these. Okay, let's put this way in GTA or something. And it's like, yeah, thanks for that, Disney. Thanks.
I kind of want to hear Crispy singing now. Like, he doesn't sound like he sings very often, so I would love to see what kind of voice he has for singing.
He sings like an angel.
I want to hear it.
If you want to hear Crispy sing, he has recorded himself singing. Just go on YouTube and type in "Go Compare."
I don't know what that is.
If you're from
I
the
don't
UK, you're laughing like mad. Fat opera singer with a mustache that's really annoying in our adverts that pops up on our advert out of nowhere and starts to sing for car insurance or some sort of insurance. He started to sing, "Go Compare, Go Compare, Go Compare."
Oh,
To the point where people hated him so much and wrote in so much hatred to him. One of the adverts for the longest time was just people killing him.
I had to look up his picture.
is that what Crispy sounds like?
No, I was just making a joke where he was the Go Compare guy.
Oh,
Poor
what does he sound like?
It's Crispy singing. He just sounded like someone singing. I don't know. I'm not fucking. It's just because I'm English doesn't mean I'm Simon Cowell. I'm not here to critique music.
Yes, I'm being racist now.
But now, over to kids game. Worst kids game? Pew. To the pew, to the pew, pew, pew.
Where's kids game?
Go pew, go pew, go. Go pew, go pew, go.
Worst kids game was
Go pew, go pew, go.
Shut the fuck up. I'm having a hard night. Okay, don't make it any harder.
I can understand that. I was watching a video earlier and I was having a hard night.
Oh, god damn you. Anyway, the worst kids game is Nino Kunai, just because it's really not like kids appropriate. It's but it's supposed to be targeted for kids, and the whole like vagina tentacle monster shit, that's not appropriate for kids. So like I think that just ruined it for me. Like, if I was a parent or something, I'd be like, you know what, you can't play this anymore. Go play Scribblenauts or something, you know? Because, like, as soon as a lady comes up to me and says, get the babies out of me and fight the monster inside me to get the babies out or clear my pipes, you know? I'm like,
just gonna-
oh, okay, we're done
Clear
here.
my pipes.
I'm just gonna say if you ever were,
To be born. Fight the
I was gonna
monster
say-
inside her baby born area. Or whatever the fuck they called it.
and I'm just gonna say, Pew, if you ever were a parent and you managed to spawn one of your spawns out of you, and it grew up, I would be so disappointed that Buffy Summers or Van Helsing had not taken care of that demon.
It'd be cool
And
kind of
at least
demon
held
baby.
its head up to the villagers, so we know the curse has been broken.
I wouldn't mind a little bit of a demon. You know, Doyle from Angel was demon. He was cool.
Yeah, but this is you.
Aww.
No, I'm kidding, but I can understand where you were coming from with.
It's supposed to be a
game.
kid's game.
I
And you
keep
have this
forgetting
little
its title.
peasant who just is depressed half the time because his mommy's dead and this doesn't teach you how to properly grieve because he just thinks his mom's gonna get back and he's just escapism, and I really think he's just, fucking going off and this whole world is fake and he's just killing all the random animals in his neighborhood pretending he's on an adventure, but
Nice.
Seems legit.
it's not for kids. It's not for anyone because it sucks.
Fair enough. And over to Rick.
Okay, the one I picked, I know there's going to be some disagreement on this. I picked Disney Universe. Just because I bought that for my kid, and oh my god, that was not, I understand it's it's kind of like the Lego games with Disney stuff, but each world has 3 levels, and there was just so much grinding, and I'm like, you don't, the kids will learn grinding later. When they're younger, they don't understand. I don't, oh, you have to keep doing that level over and over again to get the coins, and then you buy it, and it just didn't seem like there was very many levels, and that third level in Pirates of the Caribbean, where you have to shoot the ship, I kept having to help him with that. That level is atrocious. I just did not like that game. I did not think it was very good for kids because I kept having to help them, and it's just no.
You have made a powerful enemy.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm kidding. People are allowed to dislike it. It's some people I know do dislike Disney Universe. Some people love it, which it's cool.
I'm still on the fence about it.
And my least favorite, and I don't think anyone here is gonna care, Power Rangers Dino Thunder.
I sadly have not played that.
I have seen a few episodes of the show.
Pardon me. I had to mute because I kept sneezing like crap. I don't know why. Allergies are playing up or something. But Power Rangers, I don't think I'm allergic to something, but it's just sneezing. I might have a cold. But Power Rangers Dino Thunder on PS2. Because who loves those beat 'em up Power Ranger games, Rick?
I do.
Now, wouldn't you love a game where instead of playing as the Rangers, you played as their Zords in a really broken Godzilla rip-off game that had almost no story and purpose to it other than, yay, I'm a T-Rex.
Not as the full game.
As part of it, yeah. That was
If the sword battles were kind of like the Godzilla fights, okay, but yeah, if that's all that there is to the game, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. All of it was you were running around as the T-Rex or flying as the pterodactyl, or I believe it wasn't quite meant to be a pterodactyl. Fuck it, that's the one I know, pterodactyl, or the Triceratops, and it's okay, cool. But at the same time, I would rather be a ranger in a Power Ranger game and beat stuff up. I don't want to be walking around in just their own Zord, doing a shitty platforming Spyro meets Godzilla crap. I want to play as Power Ranger. Fuck off. Let me kick something. But
Pick a puppy.
yep. Over the sports game.
My least favorite sports game, mostly because I don't really give a shit about any sports games if they don't have Mario in it, would be the Madden series, because football. What the fuck is that about? I don't even know the rules of actual football, let alone the rules of fucking video game football.
Fair enough. Over to Rick.
I really don't.
I'm not even addressing that one. Over to Rick.
All right, so for mine, I picked Mega Man Soccer. I have no idea if it's called something else outside of the U.S. So I apologize.
Mega Man.
Maybe I don't even know if it like I
don't know because some games do come out over here with soccer in the
Oh,
title.
do they? But this was a Super Nintendo game I rented years ago, and there are okay parts to it, but there's no need for it. Like really, the best part of the game was that each character you could do like a powered move, so like Heat Man could kick the ball and it would have like fire on it and it would like knock down one person, and like Leaf Man would have the leaves on it, or Woodman, sorry, would have the leaf shield on it so you can like block it or whatever, and like that part was okay, but you get like one per like half of the game or something. Like you could blow through them super fast, and the AI, old sports games, so they like cheat, they're just like, oh yeah, you're winning, so now we're gonna get like all these points to tie it up or whatever, and you're just like, what, and oh, it was just an excuse to sell another really crappy Mega Man game, and it wasn't like the worst game I've ever played, but I'd say it's the worst sports game because I haven't played a lot of them, and it was not good.
I would actually argue the other.
Uh-huh.
Based on how you described it, I'm guessing, because I've played some games where they seem to have done this, my guess is it was a really shitty football game or soccer game, and they used Mega Man to sell a really shitty soccer game.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, probably was like crappy, like, oh, just change all the sprites to Mega Man people. We got this.
Yeah, because I really don't see any Mega Man fan ever, no offense, Rick, if you did, I don't see any Mega Man fan ever turning around saying, you know what we really need?
Yeah, really.
A game where he plays football, because, Mega Man like Beckham, that should be a thing.
Beckham Man.
Yeah, just absorbs David Beckham. Gets like the stubble and shit.
Yes.
Oh, I have like 18 minutes on my laptop. I have to like plug this into my kitchen somehow.
Do you not have power?
Well, it's like only half my house has power. Only like the power in the kitchen, and I only have so many outlets in the kitchen.
Ah, fair enough. Go plug it in the kitchen and go sit down in the kitchen.
I don't have a like sit down kitchen.
Oh yeah,
Move
perfect.
a chair.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
She doesn't have chairs. Move a box.
There you go.
I have a sort of coffee table in the living room, so I can move that, or a chair or something. Yeah.
Or if your apartment's really small, you might actually be able to plug it in the kitchen in the socket closest to the wall leading out and just run the cable through.
Yeah, I'm moving it just a little bit over. Ah, okay.
Okay.
That sounded.
Can you mute while you're moving?
Yeah.
Don't kill yourself.
What's
I
that?
disagree with Rick.
Maybe if I stick a fork in the outlet, the power will turn back on.
Yes, it will. You'll
Try
also gain
licking.
superpowers.
Try licking the socket. But I will say for my one, for worst sports game, I will say in advance, I'm sorry, Rick.
Mm-hmm.
ECW on PS1, the first one. I had that game because at the time I was watching ECW, WCW, and WWE, or WWF. Oh my god, they took the exact same game as Warzone and Attitude Era, put ECW paint all over it, and what the fuck was wrong with that Inferno match? They built an Inferno match, you get to set people on fire, like, this is going to be awesome. It was shit. And it's like, you took the shit games of the other two, and you've made it shitter. And I'm sorry, I might just be old-fashioned, but ECW should play different to a WWE game.
Yeah.
No, I hated those Warzone Attitude Era games, and you made it worse with ECW, and I don't know why. Because I wanted that to be awesome. Because I'm like, this should be more awesome, because it should have more weapons, more stuff to do. No.
Yeah.
You had pretty much the same stuff to do, and then you had a shitty match where you could set someone on fire, but it was so broken you didn't really understand how you were going to win this match. At least that was my experience. I don't know if Rick played that one.
No, I didn't. I wanted to, and I actually I bought the N64 version. I don't know if it's like the sequel or if it's that one for like $1, and I still haven't gotten around to playing it. But it sounds like I may have wasted my $1.
Yeah, I don't know because I'm not entirely sure. You may have. Even more so if it's like the Warzone on the. I think it was what the Warzone they ported to the
Yeah.
N64, where they gimped the features on it too.
Oh.
Because then you'd be buying a shit game, made even shitter.
And it
See,
doesn't
Ninja
cancel
Turtles
it
on
out.
Amiga.
Nice.
But now on to Reboot. So over to Pew if she's still there for her worst Reboot game. And I'm just going to say in advance, before she answers, this is a game that reboots the series or remakes the series. This is not a game based on the hit cartoon Reboot.
Okay, I didn't have a reboot one.
Did you have one based on the game, on the series?
No, I didn't have anything. 'Cause I couldn't
Okay.
think of.
Okay.
I didn't want to half-ass something.
Oh, fair enough. Over to Rick.
Okay, this one is more a remake than a reboot. I think they fall in the same category, if I recall.
Yeah, we're allowing both.
Okay. Okay, it'd be Mega Man X Maverick Hunter on the PSP. Now, Mega Man X1, you may recall, was my favorite platforming game of all time. Maverick Hunter took that awesomeness and, they made like newer 3D graphics. Okay, doesn't look as good as the sprites, but okay. And then they slightly retweaked it to fit the PSP screen, because the PSP screen is different dimensions to a normal TV. It's at the time were 4:3. PSP is, I don't remember. It's not even 16:9. It's like old TVs. Remember CRTs?
There was something before widescreen.
Yeah.
Get
And
out
the
of here.
PSP, the PSP is widescreen, but it's like not 16:9. It's like something else.
Yeah.
And so they resized stuff, but the sprite, like with not the sprites, the like 3D models of characters, like it messes with all the proportions because they're bigger than they should be with how they change the levels. And so the hit detection is like just terrible. And they did a few things, like they moved around locations of items. That's fine. I can get used to that. It was very jarring because I'm like, I know where this item is, and I went and I'm like, wait, it's not here. So I'm okay with that. But just it was so easy to get hit because like the proportions were all effed up, and your like hit box basically was huge. And there was one boss that was like near unbeatable because he basically bounces around the screen, in like different like set patterns or whatever, but because you're so big and because the screen's proportions are all weird, it's like really hard to not get hit by him. And I was like, what? And it's just and there was some like decent stuff in the game, like you could unlock a really really compressed video file for the like the OAV or whatever Mega Man. You could play as like Vile, his nemesis. So they had some decent stuff, but just the core game is just, they didn't do it well. It shouldn't. The way they made it fit the PSP screen just kind of ruined it for me.
Fair enough, I can see that. And speaking of classic games being ruined, Bomberman Act Zero on the 360. That was one of the first 360 games I bought.
I'm so
I
sorry.
may have cried myself to sleep that night. I didn't. I'm not that. It wasn't. I don't get like that. But yeah, I was like, who in their right mind takes cartoony Bomberman and the fun thing of Bomberman and thinks, you know what? Let's make a Halo. And they turned Bomberman to this Master Chief-like clone, and there was parts where you could go first person inside the tunnels, which no one asked for ever. The gameplay just wasn't fun, and it's like, no, you've taken Bomberman and you've turned into something that's completely unrecognizable as Bomberman, other than the fact they're in some sort of maze and they're using bombs.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think I showed that to Rick at one point.
Oh yeah. I'm glad I never played that game.
That was either you or Marcus I introduced to that game. That was
Probably Marcus, because I remember it came out when I actually worked retail, and so I saw that game and I was like, what is this? And I want to say one of my friends bought it and was like, no, and I went up and looked up stuff on it, and I'm like, why? What have they done?
Fun fact for everyone listening, That's why Richter doesn't work retail anymore. He saw that on the shelf and saw that they were trying to sell it then. He's just like, no, you know what? No. And he handed in his stuff and goes, no.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and
come
do
here.
something. I'm going to do something a little bit better for humanity, like go help make bombs. At least then I'm helping society more in this game. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that game is fucking horrible. I hate that game. Why would you do this?
Yeah, I don't know.
If we had a category for exclusive as well, that would also get my worst. But over to sequel/prequel.
See, I have a legitimate one for this one.
Oh no, I don't like it when she
That
says
makes it seem like a lot of your other ones weren't.
Okay, you said they weren't.
Who ones?
Yeah, I know.
No,
I'm trying to be
like,
nice.
fine. You said they weren't. Okay, I'll agree with you. They weren't. But this one totally is. Okay, Assassin's Creed 3. That was a bullshit game sequel,
We will allow this.
and no one gives a shit about like American history. At least I don't. And that was like the most boring part of American history. I mean, there's certain exciting parts, but I feel like they chose the most boring part of American history. And you're some little. Now I'm not taking away Native Americans, but like, oh no, my mommy died, boo hoo. Now I'm gonna become an assassin like 7 hours into the game because fuck those other 7 hours. We'll start it now.
I can't believe I'm going to be the one to say this in this conversation. I like American history.
See, there's some American history that I like, but like.
I mean, some of the American history is maxed up, like the reason why the Puritans actually went to your country. Some people think they went there to escape persecution. That's actually wrong. They went there to persecute, but still.
I believe that.
That is actually true. They went there to persecute. But yeah, I when I was in America, I spent ages in like a Civil War museum and stuff like that. And American history is really fun. Hell, history in general. I can't believe I'm saying this, but history in general is always fun.
History in general is, but I find the history of my own country like the most boring, and
The
especially
country's
with.
Italy.
Yeah, I wish it was. I mean, technically, you could argue fifth generation Italian.
And you know why Italy's shaped like a boot? Because you can't fit all that shit in a sandal.
But like here, like it's not even real history. It's like knockoff history because we like walking down the street in freaking Assassin's Creed. Oh, by the way, I'm Benjamin Franklin. I'm working on my latest thing. Oh, I'm also Thomas Jefferson. How you doing? By the way,
Good thing you happen to be here.
Exactly.
I have to ask. Did you really think it would be historically accurate, Assassin's Creed 3?
I think they might want to
Don't
try
get me wrong,
and
some of the story with that is complete bullshit. They killed Desmond. But it's okay. I think it was that one that killed Desmond. But still,
Yes.
come on, like the second one. You're running around and you have like Leonardo da Vinci giving you fucking assassin blades and shit. It's like, no.
This is actually useful. All freaking Ben Franklin does is, hey, you know what? I lost these pieces of paper. They're flying around the wind. How about you go catch them for me? Be a sport and go run to rooftops and catch those papers. And that's all he fucking does.
I agree that he wouldn't be useful. I was just pointing out that he's no more historically inaccurate than Da Vinci was.
Well, if you're gonna make him more or less historically accurate, if you want me to like him, make him fucking do something, you know? Otherwise, he might as well be historically accurate if you're gonna make me not care.
Fair enough. But I do agree with that game being chosen. I was just disagreeing with the thing of American history sucks.
Well, I didn't say all American history stocks. Just this particular point in American history and the way they integrated it was very boring.
Fair enough.
Cause I love like history from other countries, and I love some American history, but this just not work for me. I just didn't fucking care at all.
Fair enough. What did Richter have for sequel or prequel?
Wait, 1 second. Before just to re-emphasize how much I didn't care when his mother was dying in flames. I was like, meh. When do I get to be an assassin? Like, what blades will I get? Like, what cool things?
You said that when your mother was dying in flames.
It is true.
But literally, that's what I was thinking about as I watched his mother die in flames. Like, I mean, that's what I was thinking about.
Fair enough. But Brick.
Okay, so mine's probably predictable. I'm betting everyone could guess what it is, and I know no one's going to agree with me, but that's okay. This is my little corner to complain about right now. What?
Mega Man 11?
Is there? No, there isn't one yet.
Or 10, whichever one was on the PSN that I heard people hated.
9 and 10. Yeah, wasn't it like I still haven't got around to playing those ones, but 9 was supposed to be pretty good, and then 10 people are like, it's not as good.
Fair enough. So maybe it wasn't as predictable as I thought.
Yeah, no. Mine was Mass Effect 2.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I know it's fine. The other people like it. That's okay. But just for me, it was a huge disappointment because I feel like they got rid of most of the like good RPG aspects, and they added in ammo and made like half the weapons and classes useless, and it did not. It really to me felt like a third-person shooter. Like it felt a lot like Army of Two, which I had played a couple months before, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it just didn't feel like action RPG like the first one. It felt like a third-person shooter with some RPG stuff. Like there wasn't really equipment you got, and you barely got any weapons, and you couldn't have different ammo types, like one per person. It was just an ability that affected everyone, and I was like, what is this nonsense? And I don't know, like some of the characters were okay, but just the game on the whole was really disappointing. And what was the other thing? You can screw up the ending if you don't do stuff fast enough or do stuff too fast, and it's like, that one was super disappointing. I have a collector's edition of it somewhere.
I will argue, sure, you get to do all that, but on the flip side, Rick, sex with Miranda, come on.
That's true. No, like some of the I liked Legion.
I'm kidding with that.
Yeah,
I'm kidding with that.
No, that's a good perk, but I mean, some of the characters were fine, but it's just overall.
That's a good perk.
And you get a space hamster, which you couldn't get in the first one.
No, like I said, it's fair enough. You didn't like it. Like there's parts of 3 I didn't like and stuff, but I will say that is something that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
With Mass Effect 2. Like I said, and 3, obviously. Like I mentioned, I loved the character of Miranda. I really did like her. Years after playing Mass Effect 2, I watched the TV show Chuck. And I'm like, this actress looks really fucking familiar. The one that's the main actress. Where the fuck do I know her? And I start Googling. I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking Miranda. Her face looks just like her. Oh, yeah. Fap. Okay, the fat part was wrong, but I was just like, oh, cool. Okay, I didn't know that. I was just like, you look really familiar. Why do I know you? And I'm like, wait, I recognize her from a video game? That's never happened to me.
Now, when you say wrong, do you mean inappropriate wrong or didn't happen wrong? Because...
Yeah. I'm just going to go with mine. Ghostbusters Sanctum of Slime.
Yeah.
It's a sequel to Ghostbusters, the video game, which was fucking awesome. It uses cartoon things, doesn't let you play as the Ghostbusters, yet invents 4 characters for you to play as that have the exact same personalities as the originals. Why? It's a top-down Diablo-style game, cool. Some of the stuff that they tried to do, cool. Used a load of the assets from the first game, cool. But it repeated the stages over and over and over and over fucking again. And the gameplay was fucking shit. Like, I shouldn't be playing Ghostbusters trying to catch a ghost when suddenly it gets surrounded all around me by various different coloured ghosts. And you have to swap weapon to kill a different ghost. And each one takes a few seconds to do it. So you'd say, like, change to the yellow beam, boom, get the yellow ghost. And the red one by the time you got the yellow one, the red one's killed you. Or boom, you do the red and the blue one would get you. It's like, you've made a horrible game. A game I couldn't even complete. I normally, at least bad games, like Aliens, Colonel Marines, and fucking Duke Nukem Forever, and stuff like that, I try to sit through as much as possible. This is one of those few I just couldn't get through. I'm just like, no, we're done.
We're done here.
Yeah, if you've seen Sanctum of Slime, or if you played it, yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, Google Sanctum of Slime and have some fun. It's fucking shit. But no,
I tried that demo, and yeah, I was like, I'm not buying.
shut up and let me keep my money.
That needs to be a meme too.
Let me keep my money.
But over to Pew for worst character, male.
Okay, worst character male is I had to look up his name because I didn't even like know his name because I kind of just hated him and didn't deserve to like learn his name. But I played that Darkness game that I got at the garage sale for $1, and yeah, his name is Jackie Estacado. Estacado.
Is
Yeah,
it
it's some
is
what?
is it wrong? It might just be from from doing these lists with Pew Pew Rick. But when she said, yeah, I couldn't remember his name, so I had to Google it. I was half expected to be something like the lead character in Max Payne or something.
Nice.
That's why I'm like, when she mentions a game that
That
doesn't
guy
have
in Crash
characters,
Bandicoot.
yeah, when she mentioned the game that it didn't have the character's name, I was like, oh, okay. But no, sorry, Pew, over to you for the darkness.
Yeah, like as soon as I saw him, he just looked like one of those douchebaggy drug dealers, kind of like Snow in Final Fantasy. Was it 10 or something or 11 or whatever? It looks like him, except not with the hat, but he has black hair, and he just said, "Hey, I'm gonna do these things now. Look, I have a gun. I'm shooting people. Yeah, this is what acting is. See, I'm doing this thing." And I'm like, "What are you? What is the fucking room or something? What is this nonsense?"
I'm
I
doing
just
this
didn't
thing.
care. It just like I just killed this guy like midway to like talking. Like I interrupted his dialogue box because I killed him, which was cool. And he's like, "Hey, look at that." I'm like, really? Really? You just killed your friend and like that's how you react? Hey, look at that. I guess I'll go shoot more things now. Yup.
Sounds like you. He sounds like he has your personality.
No, shut the
You're the
fuck up.
person you just mentioned a few minutes ago when someone was burning to death on a game. You were just like, okay, that happened.
That's because I didn't give a shit because
The exact same person. He didn't give a shit. You haven't made him emotionally invested in you.
he failed to make me emotion invested. He wasn't invested when he killed his best friend, so why should I be invested in him?
I just said maybe you failed to make him emotionally invested.
No, it wasn't make him emotionally invested.
It's true.
It was just so fucking boring and like just go kill yourself. Just take. I wish I could like. I kept trying to shoot at like metal pipes and stuff to see if I could bounce the boat off and kill myself, but it did not work.
Fair enough. Rick.
All right, so my least favorite or worst male character is from Final Fantasy VII, and it's my arch nemesis Sephiroth, because F that guy. He's just like, okay, you come off like Final Fantasy VI, where they had Kefka, who, even though he's crazy, is one of like the best bad guys ever. And then you go to Sephiroth, who people think is like the greatest bad guy ever, when he killed a girl from behind who had her eyes closed. Yeah, real good guy. You know, that takes a lot of talent. And then he has like mommy issues, and he goes and like half the stuff that's like he kills that one serpent, you know, that keeps you from going in the cave. Supposedly, you don't see him kill it; you just see it dead. You have to assume he killed it. They're like, oh, he must have killed it. And like, bull, let me see him kill it. Like, I fought him in the final battle. He didn't kill anything. Like, I kicked the crap out of him. And then just like, it also bugs me because he's not that great of a character. He's not that great of a villain. And like, so many people are like, oh, he's like the greatest villain ever. No, he's not. And then they make him like a super boss in Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, and like, oh, he has one wing and Cloud has the other because they're lovers. And I'm like, I don't care about that crap. I'm going to kill him there too.
What they actually mean, Richter, is he's the best Simon ever. He looks badass. He puts his hair in the wind, is walking away in the flames. He wears tight clothing without a shirt, but he has like those weird arm bandaged ribbed things or whatever. He goes across his chest. He looks badass. His hair flows in the wind. You know, he's Simon, the villain.
I'm just going to say what I think I've mentioned before off podcast to people, but yeah, Sephiroth, in my opinion, his Final Fantasy what Broly is to Dragon Ball Z. People overrate the shit out of him. He's
Yeah.
a shit character, never should have fucking existed, makes no fucking sense. And then people god mod like fuck. Example, the new Dragon Ball manga that's coming out now has Super Saiyan 4 Broly in it. Or Dragon Ball Heroes, the game. It was one of the two. And I'm like,
Right.
really? You already made him Super Saiyan 3.
Well,
Now you've made him Super Saiyan 4. Why? Or
Yeah,
why when he's legendary Super Saiyan does Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta go against him and barely fucking touch him? It's like, really? Fuck you game. Or fuck you Broly.
Pretty boy.
Broly's not a pretty boy.
No, I meant Sephiroth.
I was
Yeah,
going to say, yeah, Broly's like Hulk.
Yeah.
Without
And also,
the
I don't-
ability.
If anyone's played Dissidia, the Final Fantasy fighting game on PSP, Sephiroth is effing cheap in that too, so screw him.
Yeah, I got annoyed by how fucking god modded he was in Kingdom Hearts.
Right?
Just because, in my opinion, Final Fantasy isn't as big in the Kingdom Hearts series as the Disney stuff is. I'm
Right.
not saying Final Fantasy isn't as big as Disney. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying it's not as big in those games because every world you go to is Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck is Sephiroth? I believe Sephiroth was actually the last boss you get after you defeated Hades. A fucking god.
And Maleficent and everybody else has like 5 health bars and he has like 19. You know?
Yeah, but I mean Hades. It's in the Hades place. It's in the Colosseum. I'm like, it's Hades. He's a fucking god. Sephiroth is not more powerful than a fucking god.
Sephiroth's like a genetically modified mama's boy.
He is.
He's not more powerful than Hades, just because he has a wing and a really long sword.
Yeah, because a freaking scientist decided to fuck his experiments and then made Sephiroth.
Yeah.
No, that's just weird. It's weird that they make that decision in Kingdom Hearts. That just peeved me.
He has even more health bars than the second one.
It's like
Right.
it's like how I'll admit in the first game it peeved me a bit, and I don't know if people would agree with this or not. It peeved me in the first game. The Cloud was a more powerful fight than Hercules.
Oh yeah, that was also stupid.
I'm like, it's Hercules. He's half god.
He just stands around looking at himself, and that's how you kill him. Pretty much.
It's Hercules. If I know anything about Hercules from seeing history and stuff like that, he's half god, half Andromeda captain.
I don't know what that means.
He survived a black hole!
Yeah, I love the fact that Richter got that joke. Nice.
Yeah. I watched some of that show.
I like that show. Yeah, but yeah, my least favorite. This is really predictable. I know Rick knows exactly what's coming.
Dun-dun-dun.
Dante. That's Dante from DMC, but I call him Dante because yeah, he's just no. Dante should not look like the guy from Twilight. He should not be that emo. He should not be that whiny. No, everything about that character is just so wrong for Dante. And it's like, why? Why is this a thing?
Yeah.
I would take Sonic Man being Sonic over Dante.
Sonic Man.
I remember showing you his picture.
Yeah.
Sonic Man. From I think that was Sonic 06. It was one of them where it's Sonic Man. It was like a guy on the street in the game to cosplaying as just Sonic. It's like no. But least favorite female in the game. Over to Pew. Speaking of least favorite females.
female in a game, that would be Estelle from Vesperia. I'm gonna tie it. It's Estelle and
Yeah, I'd like to tie her too.
Heyo.
I'm trying to think of her name. And I played what was her name? Blonde chick from.
Blonde chick from Legend of Zelda.
No, it was from the other Tales game.
Colette.
Blonde, yeah, her. I was trying to think of her name because I just called her blonde bitch.
I'm really scared that she's like, oh, the other one, and she's like blonde, and I'm like, Colette? Like, that was the first thing that popped in my head. I'm like, don't be the right answer.
Yeah, she was blonde on the inside, man.
She was blonde on the inside, yes. Yes, she was.
Her and Estelle are basically the same character, so that's why they're tied. Because the only thing that changed was their hair color.
Fair enough.
And just like they're just helpless women who are like the saviors of everything, and it's really annoying. Because like, why do you want to save them? Why do you even want to tolerate their existence? You always have to keep saving them all the time. And what do? They do nothing. They just like. At the very last thing, they probably like sacrifice themselves, like, you know, you think they're dead or something, and then they end up not being dead, and it's like not really sacrifice, and then like whatever. Like that's like the ultimate thing they do is fake sacrifice themselves, and like, they have they're shit at fighting, and they're pretty shit at everything else. Most of the time, they're just a healing bitch, and then you know, like half the time she dies anyway, and then I have to resurrect her so she can heal me some more, and like. She won't stay the fuck away, and she keeps running into battle when I tell her to stand her ground. And it's just, you don't have any purpose for existing other than keeping me to exist. That's it.
Honestly, though, I would go with Colette as being worse just because Estelle was the actual healer, wherein Symphonia Rain was the healer. Colette just had some. And also, like, Colette, she had that stealing technique where if she didn't do it, she'd just fall on her face, and you're like, God, you're terrible. You're floating! How do you trip when you're floating off the ground?
Yeah, that's also
How
true.
did the Jetsons keep running into traffic?
Yeah.
Sorry, was that a completely unrelated question?
But like,
No,
Estelle would
it
say
was.
awful things like, oh, I forgot the sky was blue because I've been inside all my life. I'm like, really? Really? I forgot the sky was blue and there's clouds in the sky. I forgot those exist too. And I'm like, really? These are things you could have, like, and she's not banished to her room or anything. She could have walked in the courtyard or something. She could have walked around the castle, so she's no excuse for that. I'm
I
like,
wish
what
I
the
could
fuck?
pretend cloud didn't exist.
No, like,
Nice.
no, but like, she could see these things from her window, or she could, you know, walk outside the courtyard, okay? It's not like she was, like, prison bound. Like,
To be fair, a woman can't look out the window unless she's doing the dishes or baking a pie. And leaving it there to cool.
But she didn't know the sky was blue or that it had clouds in it.
Maybe
And
her
she's like,
windows are tinted. And I will also say I was obviously kidding about the dishes and the pie, I can't remember. But yeah, maybe the windows were tinted. Or maybe she's
And she was
colorblind.
For every random monster she fought, she said, I would pray for every single monster we fought and make graves for them, and I'll visit their graves. And like, really? Every random monster you fight ever? Really? You know how many it's going to be? I'm pretty sure it's going to be at least like million or millions.
I'm going to have to say, you are a heartless bitch. Because every random monster you face was still some other random monster's baby or brother or sister or mother or something, you heartless bitch.
But
This
that's
is why
not
monsters don't
really
like humans.
random monsters, and she was like, oh, I love every monster ever, and I don't want to fight any of them. Let's all be friends and hug each other all the time. And I'm like, oh my god. I need to die now.
Fair enough. Over to Rick.
Okay, my most hated female character is Etna from any of the Disgaea games she's in. I hate her. She's because basically you play as like the prince of the underworld, and she's all like talking trash, like, oh yeah, blah, blah. Like it opens up with her trying to kill you, and then she keeps talking trash like she can kill you when she actually tried. It's in the game that she failed, that she couldn't kill you, and says stuff like, oh, if you mess up, I'll take your position. No, you won't. You tried that. You suck at life. And I don't know, I never, like, I hate her because she's all like, she's one of those like cocky characters, you know, but like they do nothing to back it up. They don't get like their scene where they get to look like a badass. They just like keep talking crap, and you're like, you don't do anything. You suck. I don't even use you. Yeah.
Well, no, that may be the biggest
But,
that may be a horrible insult.
He will never hear it.
Oh, good
But,
point.
And also she like, and she is really mean to the Prinnies, and that's also really bad. And I guess she's super liked by Japan because they keep putting her in the other ones and like guest starring in other stuff, and I hate her. And I think
Really mean to Prinny,
yeah,
really cocky, really arrogant, and Asians like them. Again, hi Marcus.
But oh yeah, and she's also well, no, I don't. Well, yeah, I hate her.
You can spoil
But,
it.
like, no, it's not so much that she's weird because she's like super flat and then gets like offended if like when characters point out that she's flat, and I'm like, you can't argue like it's a like you look at it and you're like that like, you can't get mad when somebody points something like that out when it's true. Oh, I hate her. And also, I'm trying to think. In the second one, I think it's more the same where she did that. But I remember at one point she said something about like, "Oh, if you mess up, I'll kill you." And I'm like, "No, the first game showed that you can't do that." But so yeah, she just keeps up all that crap, and she acts like a know-it-all, and she is just as clueless as everyone else, and I don't like her.
To be fair, I could understand getting angry if someone points something out like that about yourself. Example, Stacey, you have a really rapeable mouth.
What?
See? I rest my case.
Well, with getting mad about it, she's also she gets mad and pretends like she's not. She's like, "What are you talking about? I have a bust." And it's like, "No, you don't. You can get mad if I'm pointing out the truth." So, but they're also like demons, so they're kind of mean to each other anyway. So I don't know why she'd get offended on that of all other things.
I also
That's
just
what your Furbies are for.
I also just love the fact Stacey was like, "What?" in the background, like, "What the hell did you just say?"
Well, she knows. She can't be that mad. I mean, I don't know. That's probably the worst thing I've said.
That's what the Furbies are for.
That's the first.
Yeah. But, fair enough. My least favourite female, we all know what's going here. Zelda.
Yeah.
But only Skyward Sword. Pushed me off a cliff.
This has been a
Then off a
you.
tower. And all throughout the game, she was a whiny, self-obsessed bitch with like no character personality besides I'm Zelda. And it's like, fuck off. You have to become really fucking awesome to get away with that. Like Christopher Walken in any of his films can get away with just being Christopher Walken because fuck it, he's Christopher fucking Walken. You're a bitch. Princess bitch. I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. You got your name on the main title, but people don't even know that's you. Some people think that's Link. It's like, no, fuck off. I don't like Zelda in Skyward Sword. I like Zelda, and I love her as Sheik. I played as, like I mentioned, I was playing as her in Hyrule Warriors. I just really hate Skyward Sword Zelda. She is just beyond the bitch.
I want to see that now as a title on her chair, Princess Bitch.
Yeah, this game shouldn't have been called The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It should have been called Legend of Cunt, the one that pushes you off a fucking cliff for no reason. Only on Wii.
Oh my god.
God, I hated her. But yeah, over to Weapon. Least favorite.
Least favorite weapon. For that canoe in Dynasty Warriors, because that was just ridiculous.
No, you didn't hear us. We said least favorite.
No, my first favorite was the Keyblade.
A giant key is more believable in a canoe, or not? Fair enough.
Yeah,
I will accept that. Fair enough.
You should swim in it, not like, hit people with it.
See, I would completely disagree because have you ever seen the film Pacific Rim? You're supposed to swim in a boat. Or at least sail in a boat. You don't even swim in a canoe. You swim in water, Steve. But yeah, but it's supposed to go in water. Same thing with a boat. And I'm sorry, Pacific Rim made a boat into a baseball bat. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Just drags it down the road like a baseball bat. Like, nope, I'm fucking awesome. Smash. I didn't do
anything.
anything.
Yeah, you just carry it, he just drags it. You're just like, oh, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it was just awesome. But yeah, I do agree the canoe is stupid.
Yeah. You mean arm blade?
Yes, I mean arm blade.
Yeah, I mean, it has some good attacks, but it's ridiculous.
And over to Rick.
Okay, mine, there were some good ones to choose from, but I eventually settled on probably one of the most useless and disappointing weapons was the foam Mega Buster in Dead Rising. Because I remember way back when that came out, finding all this cool stuff and in a series that allows you to, duct tape a katana to a lawnmower. You get like a Mega Man arm buster, and you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And it shoots out little foam balls, and you're like, okay, but they behave like actual foam balls. So you're just shooting them at the zombie, and he doesn't care because they're made of foam. And I'm like, oh, this is really disappointing. Like, I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but it's also, you go over there and you're like, oh, now it's good. With how much crazy crap becomes weapons and that, like park benches and stuff, and potted plants, and then you'd think that it would at least not treat it like actual foam hitting a zombie, but no, they do.
Yeah, I can understand like the foam rocket guns doing that because fair enough, you get them in a toy shop, but yeah, that should have been more because. I'm sorry, this is the same game in which a pie to the face can damage or hurt or distract the zombie.
Yeah, you can put like a traffic cone on their head and that'll hurt them, but like the little foam thing, and you're like, oh, that's what would happen, but I don't want that in a zombie apocalypse game. I'm already like, I have a suspension of disbelief. You could make it do at least some damage. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, or at least make up some crap like. I don't know, the foam balls are made of some sort of zombie-eating bacteria, so you shoot it, it hurts them. I don't give a crap.
Exactly, yeah. Or like if it's like, oh, this one's loaded with golf balls or something, just anything to make it damage. But I don't think it actually did any damage because they didn't seem to react. It was like you're shooting with a Nerf gun, and you're like, oh, this makes me sad.
On the plus side, they did make up for it with jewels and a flashlight.
Yeah. Well, in the first game, I think you can get the real one, but it's like you have to beat the game in like 2 hours or this crazy one. So, and I think you can get a real one, as you can get Zero's saber, which is effectively a lightsaber in the first one. But you had to like do all this like crazy crap to do it, and I'm like, oh, because I was all excited when I found it, and because Marcus and I were playing it, and we found it, we're all like excited, like, yeah, we got the Mega Man helmet and the Mega Buster, and it's like, and it just bounced off, and we're like, oh.
That's when Richter returned it.
I should have, yeah. What's the reason you're returning this? It was a foam Mega Buster, not a real one, and they're like, oh, we understand.
Yeah. Oh, we've had a few of that. That'd just be amazing.
Yeah. Put it in the pile with the other ones.
If they're gonna make it shoot a foam Mega Buster, it should be a real Mega Buster that they send you that shoots out foam ones.
Yes, I would take that.
And my least favorite weapon. You guys have chose least favorite, ironically, because of it being you using it. Mm-hmm. Mine was the least favorite for when it's used on you.
Mm.
The bane of my existence, the blue shell of death. On Mario Kart Wii. It's not as bad on Mario Kart Wii U, in my opinion, because while it is annoying, there are more ways to stop it, even though it can get annoying on that too. But on Mario Kart Wii, it was more irritating. I fucking hate that blue shell of death. Like, oh yay, I'm first for lap 1, lap 2. Yay, I'm about to cross the finish line on lap 3. Blue shell, blue shell, blue shell. Just so like fucking Yoshi can pass you. And you're like, fuck you, Yoshi, you're supposed to be extinct. But it's a case of the blue shell of death. I fucking hate that blue shell. I don't think anyone would disagree with that choice.
No, I wouldn't.
So now, least favorite power up. Pew.
Alright. I hate, like, in the Mario games where you always get any kind of weapon that makes you shrink. Sometimes it's a poison mushroom, sometimes it's, like, some weird version of a leaf, or, like, even if you have to shrink to get through an area, it still, like, takes away your power up, whatever you had before, and you do your area, and then you have to find a new one, or else you stay small. So,
I'm going to say that's really ironic.
Why?
Because when I read the list to you of mine was Tiny Mushroom Mario.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't like shrinking. I understood, like you mentioned on like Mario U or Mario Wii and stuff, of getting through the small areas, and it was crazy as fuck to bounce off stuff, and it was cool. But I hated shrinking because No, it's a power. They're meant to be power-ups. It's not supposed to make me weaker.
Yeah, and you just feel pathetic, and you have to give up whatever power up you had before. And you're just like,
Yep.
ugh, fucking sucks.
Yep. So over to Rick.
Okay. Mine is in a similar vein. It was from a game called Astanax. It was a NES game. It was like a side-scrolling platformer action game. But you basically started with a sword, and then you'd power up. Well, you'd collect the power up to get a spear, and then you'd collect another power up to get an axe. And the power up to give you a spear was horrible because the spear was weaker than the starting weapon. So it sucks because it like you said, it's supposed to be a power up, but it made you weaker. But also, if you wanted to get stronger, you had to get that, so then you could get the stronger one later. And it's like, like why would you make that?
Yeah, we're not supposed to power down. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Our base form is supposed to, in a game, your base forms is supposed to be when you feel the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like, oh, I took a power up. Now I'm weaker? No.
Like, well, I better hope there's another power up to counter that. Like, why?
Yeah.
Although I guess in a similar vein, an honorable mention would go to in the like Gradius games in Parodius. There's like a question mark that it's like at the end of the bar, and if you grab it, it just gets rid of all your power-ups. You're like, why would you put that there? It doesn't even say like, it's not even like a troll face or like something. It's just a question mark. You're like, I wonder what that does. And you're like, oh, cool. Now I have nothing.
Yeah. No, I have nothing.
All of my everything.
Yeah.
Yup. Now, least favourite, motion controls or voice command?
Connect anything.
That seems really biased.
No, it's just I have the Connect. I have a few Connect games, and I have like the what do you call it, sports adventure shit. That's probably when I played the most. It didn't really read. The only thing it would read is when I jump. Like anything else, like it would be all over the fucking place. And whenever my sister's like, "Hey, I'm playing too," I'm like, "No, you just wrecked everything. You just wrecked everything. Get out of here. Get out of here." Now you have to readjust the whole thing, and we have to do the diagnostics all over again. Get the fuck out. And you're like, what? I just wanted to play again. No, you can't just jump in a game. What do you think this is? Like freaking press A to start and just jump in there? No.
See, I will say I tried the Kinect in a store. It wasn't bad. I mean, parts of the Kinect did work and stuff, like that adventure game where you had to lean in the raft and stuff.
And when I was yelling at my sister, it thought I said like exit game, and then it turned off.
Well, you probably did.
Well, I was just yelling at her about the Kinect, and I used the word Kinect in my yelling, so I think at some point it had Kinect shut game off or turn Xbox off or whatever, and it turned my game off. And I was like, and then when I was done yelling at her, I looked back at the screen, and everything's all black, and I'm like, God damn it, it's all your fault. I'm like,
Fair enough. Over to Rick.
Okay, for mine, I picked Steel Battalion Heavy Assault, which was also on the Kinect on Xbox 360. I mean, the original Steel Battalion was awesome because it came with that like 40-button controller with the like 2 sticks, and it was basically a console in front of you for when you pilot a mech. Now the second one is like, well, we're not going to do that. We're just going to make it all Kinect stuff, and so you still have to do all this complicated stuff, like to look out you have to like reach up and grab the hatch and like pull it open, and then you have to like physically stand or something to get to look out. And it's like the Kinect can respond really well in some games. This is not one of those at all. Like you just have to do all these complicated motions and hope it registers while you're actually having. I mean, it's an action game, so you're fighting other robots, and or like other tanks and people, and they're not exactly robots, but they're like people in powered tanks and walking tanks and stuff and planes. And so like you can't just sit around and hope it works. You'll lose. It's just so bad. Oh yeah, like if never play that. It's terrible.
Richter highly recommends it, people.
Yeah, you can play it with Saint and the freaking Monkey King on Wii.
Yeah.
if you hate it, go play. You hate yourself, go play it now.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good recommendation.
But I believe it's over to me.
Yes.
I went with Star Wars: The Force Unleashed on Wii.
Ooh.
How the hell do you mess up using a Wii remote as a lightsaber? I understood it didn't have the complex Force stuff as the PS3 and 360, fair enough, limitations. So they decided to make the focus all on lightsabing. Cool. They fucked it up. I don't know why it just felt so shit to play for. And I'm like, no, I don't want this. I don't like this. This isn't what I asked for. And it's just one of those of how, like the other ones of how do you mess this up?
Yeah.
It should go hand in hand.
Yeah, it should. Well, we have this thing we pointed out here. You can swing it like a sword, and so it should work as a lightsaber. Let's not do that.
Yeah, and they had it so it kind of worked, but because this is before Wii Motion Plus, it was back when you just had to go and waggle, even though you could do the motions and stuff, but it wasn't always read the way you were doing the motions, and it's like, oh, I don't like this. It felt half-assed, which it probably was.
Probably.
But now, worst video game movie. So that's a movie based on a video game. A movie based on a video game. Over to Pew.
No, it's Mario Brothers. That was a bad video game movie. But like, if it was just a movie by itself that someone made like in their garage, like, with no budget, and they just happened to hear of what the Mario Brothers were, but had no idea what they actually are, like some random like mother, like, or like a mother of a child who played it. Like if my mother told somebody about them, didn't have never played it herself, she just heard whatever I said, and they made it in their basement, zero budget, I would say that's a decent film for someone who knew nothing and had no money. You win. But anything less than that, no.
Fair enough.
Trust the fungus.
Yeah, I could totally see that. What did Rick have?
That is a good choice, but for me, it was the first Resident Evil movie. Just because I was like kind of excited to see that, and then I went and saw it, and I was like, oh, this kind of vaguely takes place somewhere close to it. Okay, and it didn't have any of the characters from the game, and it's like, I wanted to see them just take, the story from the game and just make a movie out of it. That would have been fine.
I agree.
But no, and then they're just like, oh, let's make new characters, and they're going elsewhere, but kind of related. And I'm like, what is, like, it just, it didn't feel Resident Evil at all. I think they put in, like, I'm trying to remember in the first one, they might have put in, like, a zombie dog to make it like, oh, see, that's in the game, now it's here too. And you're like, no, this doesn't, nothing about this feels like Resident Evil. It feels like, like kind of like with the Mario Brothers. It feels like they heard what it was and they're like, let's just make something else. Like, no.
They heard it. They did the zombie dogs and the lickers and stuff like that, and the zombies.
Were the lickers in the first one? I couldn't.
Yeah,
remember.
I think so. Okay. You see them on the wall, on the first one as she's trying to escape. But
that's okay. Yeah.
They got all the monsters in. They got all the people in there. Cool. However, Resident Evil. It's called Resident Evil. Well, obviously it was Biohazard in Japan, but it was called Resident Evil because it took place in a mansion. This takes place in a secret government base underneath a mansion. It's like, what? And then it's like, oh, look at how awesome our main character is. It's even worse in the sequels when they introduce fucking the actual characters in the video game and they just keep telling you how much better this one is.
That main lead actress in the Resident Evil movies, I think it's the Resident Evil. Does the director, does he love showing off how naked his wife is and show what you're not having? Because that's my friend. My friend says, like, he must love his wife so much. Hey, I want to show my wife off to everyone so they know when I'm fucking at night and you're not. Like, and that's why I'm gonna put my wife naked in all the movies.
He must really love his wife, that monster.
Well, like most people love their wives at home. He wants to love them, so he wants to show everybody else what they're not having.
So does Richter if you go over to xhamster.com. And type in sad gamer.
Wow.
If that's you're not gonna find video of me having sex with a prostitute in a bald cap.
Make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen, Richter. What? Wait, there actually is a sad gamer one. It's just me fucking go, and it's like, wait, I don't think that's not me. Halfway through, as I basically come, Mega Man. And you're like, oh wait, that does seem like me. That's totally legit.
Shazam! That's what Rick do.
Yeah.
Oh, that seems legit. I don't remember that happening though.
There you go.
My least favorite one, though, I went with Doom. I was gonna go with Legend of Chung Li as well, but I was like, that's equally as bad, if not just slightly worse than the first Street Fighter film. Doom, though, is just flat out terrible. The first-person sequence is kind of cool. I wish the whole film had been like that. It had some cool ideas, but this is an action film based around a game about shooting evil aliens. How the fuck do you make this crap? Evil aliens, shooting, action film. How? Well, demons before someone correctly.
You could write that down and just name characters, and it would just happen naturally better.
Yeah.
You don't even have to write dialogue. Just write action, shoot aliens.
Yeah, and no, I didn't. I hated that film. I understand some people like that. I did not like that.
I only liked the first-person sequence. The rest of it wasn't that good. I liked that part, maybe because maybe it was better because the rest of it was so bad, or maybe because it was like, oh, this is at least kind of unique and it feels like the game. But yeah, no, the rest of the movie was.
I completely agree with that. That's why, like I said, the first-person bit was great, and I wish the whole film had been like that.
Yeah,
it would have been so unique and awesome. But yeah, shoot evil aliens action film.
To this day, Marcus still quotes that movie.
Why?
Still goes, Super 5, motherfucker. I don't know, he just loves that line. He'll randomly say that even if it has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, that only works if you're a Marine or it's something to do with Marines.
I know that.
That doesn't work random, no. You're doing it wrong. That does not give me a huge Star Trek, but it's time for the arcade light gun. Worst arcade light gun, Pew.
Duck Hunt.
Ooh.
Yeah, I probably would have liked it on its own, but like when I had it, my friends would always force me to play it with them. And I'm like, let's play Mario, right? Or you can be Mario Luigi. Let's do this. She's like, okay, but first we have to play Duck Hunt. And I'm like,
Again, go die.
This is okay, but like, it's just my personal experience. Because the game, if I played it by myself, it would have been fine. But whenever I wanted to play freaking, because my friend had this game before I bought it myself, my friend always have it, like, and every time I want to play Mario, they'd always make me play the fucking hour of Duck Hunt first. Like, you know what? Let's play Duck Hunt when we want to play Duck Hunt. Stop just making me play it and bringing it up every time I want to play Mario. So, like, that pissed me off.
Fair enough. Rick.
Yes?
Fuck that dog.
About that game or just mine?
Yours or that game, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Do both.
Admittedly, I don't think the game sucks. I do hate that dog, and I'm annoyed that he is recently brought back in something, in case anyone is worried about spoilers, but I don't like that dog.
That's already been revealed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hate
Everyone's revealed that.
Okay. Like, I was actually pissed when I was like, oh, that's the rumor, please don't be real, and then he comes out, and I'm like, why of all the people? He's a villain, dude. He laughs at you.
I'm going to use your logic.
Uh-huh.
PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, when I mentioned Dante was on there. Shouldn't you enjoy having him in there more? Because now you get to beat him up.
Hit him, yeah. No, because I'm betting he's probably good, and people...
He looked like a joke character. He looked kind of shit, because most of what he's doing, ironically, he's not fighting you. He's using ducks or pigeons or where the hell these bright-coloured things are. They didn't look like the ducks, and...
Yeah. Well, his final smash is, like, funny, but at the same time, I'm like, he just straight out has you executed, like, with a firing squad. That's kind of brutal.
Oh, I didn't see his final
Yeah.
smash. What happens?
He hits you with the ducks, and then it transports you to whatever zone, and it pulls up like the old the people from like the I don't remember what the game is, but there's one of like a shooting like a one of those like shootout games where the cardboard kind of like people come up, and it's like those people, and they all just like keep shooting whoever you hit with. So like he hits him with the ducks that pulls him to basically a firing squad of like 8-bit retro Nintendo people from one of the shooting games, and they just gun you down.
That sounds as bad as when Mo told me like his nephew played a firing squad or something with him and had him get down and shoot him
Oh
execute.
yeah, yeah, I remember that. But yeah, I do like Duck Hunt, but I don't like that dog. But
Yeah, but it's also worth pointing out,
Mhm.
I didn't play Firing Squad with my nephew in case anyone thinks I put him on like some sort of shooting game. He just happened to do this thing with a toy gun that was kind of hilarious.
But for my arcade or light gun game, I chose the old Space Ace. Or I keep forgetting the name of it, but the one where you're like Dirk Daring or whatever, the one where the medieval one, but I can't remember the name of it for some reason.
Medieval. No.
Was it? No, it wasn't medieval. It was
No, Medieval you're playing a Sid Daniel.
yeah. But it's one of those ones where like the animation was amazing. You know, so like it looked like a cartoon like in like late 80s, early 90s. You're like, wow, playing a cartoon. And it was one of those ones where like a part of the screen flashes and you have to like push the stick toward that part. And if you don't, you just die. And if you do, you continue on. And it's one of those ones that like if you memorize it, you could beat the game and look impressive. But this was specifically because it was in an arcade where it was terrible. But it costs like $1 or $1.50 to do it, and you could die in like 10 seconds, and you're just like, well, that was a good use of $1. Like it's just because it was so brutal. Like you'd sit there and you're like, oh, no. And it like flash, and you're like, oh, dead. Oh, okay. Now that I know where it's coming, and then if you hit it too soon, you'd also die. So you had to like look for it to flash and then like jam it over. So you had to know where it was and do it with correct timing. It was brutal and it was mean, but it looked pretty.
I'm gonna take the person say based on your hatred for that. Mm-hmm. You're not a boxing or UFC fan, are you? Where you'd spend like $20 or $30 on a pay-per-view to see one fight, boom, 10 seconds.
No, I like watching highlight reels of UFC. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. No, yeah.
Yeah, I always hate that. Where it's like, it's cool, but I always hate that where it's like with boxing or something. It's like you want
there's
to
no
see the
guarantees.
final box fight, and then it's like, boom, it's over. It's like, really?
Yeah, it's like weeks of build-up for like, pow, 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 boom. Hey, see, this guy won. You're like, what?
I mean, I know people criticize wrestling, but I'm sorry, at least they give you your money's worth out the pay-per-view. If it's shit, they give you the money's worth. But my least favorite arcade light gun, I don't know if anyone here played this, Resident Evil Dead Aim.
I don't think I played it, but I do remember that one.
On PS1, I believe it was, where you got a light gun with it. I love House of the Dead, as you saw. I love the Resident Evil series. Those two things together, oh, that just sounds so perfect. And admittedly, the Wii did get it right, in my personal opinion, with the Umbrella Chronicles and what the hell was the other one? Dark Chronicles, whatever it was called.
Dark Side Chronicles.
That's it, Dark Side Chronicles. Those ones got the format right. If you like the light gun games, that's kind of cool. Dead Aim did not. It just felt so like, what the hell am I playing here?
Would you say that your aim was dead?
No, it just in my spirit was. You broke me, game. You broke me.
One other thing that makes me sad about that game is they took it actually had characters, if I remember correctly. But they took the people that were, I don't know if they were playable characters. I think one of them was, but they took like the dude who I think was the protagonist from that and a girl who I don't know what she tied in, and they put them in Namco Cross Capcom. So it's like, no, Capcom, don't validate that game exists. What have you done?
Yeah. There's like, no, okay, I understand Resident Evil people, but Jill, Chris, Claire, anyone but these.
They fixed that more in Project Cross Zone, where they did have Jill and Chris as a team, even though it was newer Jill, which I didn't like. It was before she's blonde, so it was like, I guess, the best or the worst of the best Jill. But yeah, in the one before it, they only came out in Japan. Yeah, they had like the dude from Dead Aim and like some girl from it, and I'm like, no, why? Yeah, why can't we get actual Resident Evil characters? Why do we get these like? That's not even a B team. That's like a C team.
Yeah, it's like I understand some people like the character and stuff like that, but that would basically be to me like if Marvel v Capcom made Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong, I understand he's written well, people like the story, but fuck off, I want Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I mean, I'm barely tolerating my Venom figure I got in Disney Infinity 2.0 because a part of me is like, I know you're not Eddie. I just know you're not Eddie. Look at you, you son of a bitch with that not Eddie face. But I'm like, they kind of made you look like Eddie, so they've improved you, but you're not quite Eddie, are you? Look at you. Look at you, you piece of shit. You know what you've done. It's on the portal. It's on the portal facing the wall.
Yeah, you turn it around.
Is facing the wall. Right now, it's actually on the portal facing the wall, so he doesn't have to look at me. But still,
That's awesome.
It's funny because that's the figure I went out and bought. That's not gonna get released. I was like, I must have Venom, but I'm like, I know you're not Eddie. I just know it. Even on the ride home, I'm looking at him, and I'm just pulling him out. I'm like, you're not Eddie, are you? You claim to be Venom, but you're not quite, are you? But no, single player experience. This is our least favorite single player experience. Take us away, Pew.
This is no surprise, but the game Darkness. I paid $1. Worst dollar I've ever spent. Not fun. Everybody sucks. No emotion. They don't care.
Really? That was a worse single player experience for you than, say, that bus driving simulator game you played?
At least that was ironically funny.
Fair
This
enough.
had nothing going for it.
I can understand that.
That one's like so bad, so intentionally bad that like it's hilariously bad, even though I'm not gonna finish it or whatever. At least I can laugh at the fact it exists. This is giant fire.
I can understand that. I can understand that. Okay. How about Rick?
Okay, mine is a Super Nintendo game called Inito Way of the Ninja, or maybe it was Path of the Ninja. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Which I
it was like
in America that was translated to Shinobi. No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
No,
That'd be
Shinobi was
misconduct.
much better. Yeah.
I love Shinobi. That was awesome. White Ninja. It's also
But,
wrong
no-
right at the time of that. That was when the White Ranger was in a White Ninja costume, and I totally used to call him Tommy as a kid.
Nice.
But I'm sorry, you can continue with your ninja game.
Okay, but yeah, it was like an RPG where you play as a ninja. I'm like, cool, and you fight like samurai and other ninja and stuff. I'm like, cool, but it's it's one of the older RPGs, so you have to grind really to get anywhere, which is fine. I was 12 at the time. I had time. But it does one of the things I really hate in RPGs, where you're like, okay, I've spent I have like very little health, no mana or whatever. I'm gonna go to the inn. So you go to the inn, and you're sleeping, and then it's like, haha, a ninja attacks you in the middle of the night, and you don't get the benefit of sleeping at the inn. So you have a fight where you have like no health, and then he just like kills you, and it's like, haha, and then you wake up in the morning. So you spent the money to stay at the inn, and you get no benefit of it, and you get beat up. You're like in a worse position. And I'm like, no. So like randomly, you could not actually be able to keep playing the game because you'll be attacked when you're trying to restore your health, and I hate that.
I can see that. Although I would say, based on what you said then, I'm gonna be a dick. You just mentioned something. You said, yeah, you had to constantly grind, but that was okay because I was 12 years old. I got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
You chastised Disney Infinity for making kids grind. That's when they have the most time, as you just said.
Yes. Well, no, it was.
I'm kidding.
For younger children, like a 6-year-old doesn't understand grinding, but
Yeah, and I'm kidding because you could easily replace that with, why the fuck can't I play as Buzz Lightyear in Pirates of the Caribbean?
yes.
And I would be like, okay, touche. Even though I like that, I would be like, touche, that still annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Or like the new one, why can't I play as Nick Fury in the fucking Avengers?
I know. Oh, does he really not work in there? I know he came with Spider-Man, but I was hoping maybe he would work.
No, he
Wow,
works.
that's-
He only works in the Spider-Man. He doesn't work in the Avengers because in the Avengers playset, he's the one that gives you a load
Yeah,
of
he
missions. So they didn't want Nick Fury to get missions off Nick Fury. And I'm like, really? You didn't have a problem with Syndrome beating up Syndrome? What the hell?
That's
And also, the characters you can unlock in the Avengers stage is Rocket Raccoon. You can use him in that set after you get all the tokens, and Nova. Out of the Spider-Man playset, who the fuck has to use Nova in the
Yeah.
Avengers playset? Who didn't want Spider-Man, Nick Fury, or Venom?
yeah. That's wow.
Ugh.
But yeah, that was mine.
I said like this. My least favorite single-player experience: Duke Nukem Forever.
There you go.
That had to make us someone's worst list eventually, and as I was the only one
Yeah.
who played it.
Yeah.
But the gameplay was broken as fuck. It felt incomplete after 15 years. The story was kind of shit, and that ending, where it's like, Duke dies, and then suddenly it cuts to, no, I didn't, I'm president, deal with it. It's like, really? That's how you're going to end this?
That actually sounds kind of funny though.
Yeah, it says Duke dies, and then you get the credits, and after the credits, he's now doing a press conference as president of the world. He's like, I didn't die, I escaped, baby. And it's like, really? I understand the whole this is funny, and I understand, okay, that's kind of like a little heads
Yeah.
up to show he will return, but explain it. There was no need for him to die at the end just to do that. Doesn't
Yeah.
reward me with anything. You could have done the exact same joke and had him just walk away at the end.
Yeah.
God, I hated Duke Nukem Forever. But if you can look up the ending, because yeah, I'll admit the post-credit scene is kind of funny. It's just slightly irritating with the lack of effort.
Yeah,
put
I
into
could.
the ending.
Yeah.
It's like that's how you're rewarding me for all of this game. Really, I have to sit here for this long. You should be rewarding me with like a fucking Tetris-like ending.
Yes.
Anyone remembers the ending of Tetris with all the Nintendo people and the fucking fireworks and the castles?
That
That's all.
was awesome.
But multiplayer experience, worst multiplayer experience ever. This is our final award, ladies and gentlemen. Taking us away, Pew Pew. Pew Pew is currently wearing Chanel number 666 and carrying a red handbag.
I don't have many handbags. Well, I do have a few, I guess, but they're like knitted together at secondhand shops. So
By blind orphans.
there you go. Anyway, so my worst multiplayer experience was when I played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game with Jeff. Or sorry, Richter Shadow.
Can you just put any game in place of Turtles and have the same sentence?
But yeah, like that shit didn't work. I mean, the Melsers were invisible for him, so he couldn't see them. So he had to tap the air. So I had to tell him where it was after I died, and like we got trapped in walls and shit, and it was just ridiculous. Like, multiplayer is broken as fuck. It was just unplayable.
That sucks. I loved multiplayer in that game.
Yeah.
Because I played through all of that with the Crispy in local and in multiplayer when he got the game. I like that game in multiplayer. Yeah, there was some glitches though. Chances are you probably experienced some glitch or lag or something.
A few.
But I can totally understand putting that as the worst multiplayer experience. Over to Rick.
Oh, oops. All right. So
Did you
this
say
is gonna sound familiar. Yeah.
Please tell me you
I
were
can-
dangling your son over a balcony like Michael Jackson.
No comment. No. But no, for mine, this is gonna sound familiar because I mentioned it several times already. But it would be horrible platformer Page Chronica, where you have to spell stuff to power up and double jump or whatever. There was actually a multiplayer mode, and it's as you can imagine from a game like that, it was really bad. So basically each player had their own letters, so it made it like double jumbled. And if like one player could spell and one could jump, it would have been fine, because that would have been a cool way to like play with a younger child, because you could kind of teach them the spell and you could do the hard parts. Now, both people had to spell, and the power up I believe only worked on one person, so like you'd have to stand there and both people. It's just, and like already 2-player platforming games can be very, very hard, because like you have to like not get too far ahead of the other person, because you're on one, if you're like couch co-op, because you have the one screen. And so you combine that with the fact that your double jump is timed and you have to spell. It's just, no, it was a mess. The only way that game could get worse was to add multiplayer, and they did it.
Yeah, I will say, while I did like the local multiplayer in that Mario Wii, the new Super Mario Brothers, I will say my favourite form of side-scrolling platforming local multiplayer was still something like Mario World or Mario 3, where you just took it in turns and did a level each.
Yeah.
As one is Mario, one is the less important brother.
That sounds like
Mario?
Battletoads in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is with Battletoads, you could hit each other, but after a while, you kind of get used to it, and you're just more careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, even so, that was actually a huge misstep, was in Battletoads. You're right. God, that game.
And this may alienate some of our audience. But Team Fortress 2 on the PC.
Huh?
Because I've been playing through that, and everyone's like, yeah, check out my stickers. I just totally shoved my fandom in your face. It's like, fuck off. Check out my mods. Oh yeah, all my mods are awesome. Or some people use mods to look through walls to kill you. And it's like, that's just cheating. What's the fucking point of playing? Or you go to play like Capture the Flag, and people take their own flags and deliberately hide it in a room where they know the other team can't get to properly, just so it turns into a never-ending death match. And it's like, I don't want to play deathmatch. I wanted to play deathmatch. I would have picked deathmatch. And those same people that bitch about that, like, yeah, well, if it's just because, I don't know, they use excuses like, I don't know, it's just because that map's better for Capture the Flag, for deathmatch, than it is for Capture the Flag. And then you'll never get a multiplayer that has a shooter that has a map designed for every mode. And then they'll turn and say, fuck Call of Duty. To its credit, every map works at every fucking mode.
Yeah.
And you know what? People mostly play those games how they're sort of intended. You'll still get people doing more deaths than they do captures, but you still get people capturing. It's just mods to ruin the game's fun by cheating. Then when you finally get away from that, you have people shoving fandoms and shit in your face and being like, no, we're so awesome because we posted this shit on the wall. I don't give a shit. Or look how awesome I am because now I've made myself look like I'm a fucking Care Bear. I don't give a shit. Or now you're playing a mode in which isn't intended for how this mode was meant to be played. Enjoy, and it's like, fuck off. None of this game is fun. And then it's like, but you can keep grinding to earn hats. Why? Why do I want these hats? Why are these hats so clamoured for? No, fuck you, Team Hattress 2. Yeah, fuck you.
Mainly, I admittedly want to make hats for that game.
Yeah. Now, the game itself can be fun to play, I will admit that. It's just the fan base for it, with how they've played and how they've done some stuff, have ruined the experience, because it's a multiplayer experience. It's not necessarily the game is bad, it's just the experience was bad, and that's the worst experience I've had in a multiplayer is Team Fortress 2.
Plus, now they added this new thing on it where you can like do these non-violent like interactions with the other teams. Like you can literally press a button at the same time this other one does, so you can earn achievements by playing like patty cake with the enemy, or like giving them a high five, or do shit like that. And you're not even fighting them anymore. You're just fucking spamming the shit so you can give them a hat.
Yay! Yeah, that's a massive upgrade and improvement. Please, PC elitists, tell us how Call of Duty sucks again.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm sorry. I'm like, if you're gonna insult something like that and say like console games are shit because all they play is Call of Duty, at least look at what your number one game on the PC is, which people always claim is Team Fortress, and take a good look at how that plays. I'm just saying. There's bad experiences on both, but that was fucking horrible. But I believe that was it for our awards. We finished our awards, which means next week we're back on normal topics with 2 newses, 2 catch-ups, Richter as host, and a whole new topic. Yay!
Yeah.
Woo!
But feel free to leave a comment below about whether or not you agreed with any awards, any awards you felt we missed off, because if we get enough of awards we've missed off, we may fill them out. But I was your host, Chriz, aka Mole. I was joined by the stay-at-home dad gamer, Richter Hammer.
Thank you.
Miss Pew Pew herself, Anastasia Lazerbeam.
Woo!
And yeah, see ya.